everyone, and welcome to P1 Broadcasting. You've got Murph. You've got Caleb Brashear. The Bash Brothers are back. And we are at virtual Phoenix Raceway for the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series Cactus 200. Normally when we come to Phoenix in a stock car, Caleb, we're talking about playoffs. We're talking about the finishing race of the season. Not so this year. It's been moved up in the schedule. We are here for stock cars this week. Not only stock cars, we're here for a doubleheader, Caleb.
Yes, we are in the real life series. You got both IndyCar and NASCAR going to the real life track. However, tonight, usually we see, for this, for the lower tier series in the Grand National and the truck race, this is usually the last race of the season here, Murph. But this time around, the championship race is going, or the final race of the season, with the new season format, the final race of the season is going to Homestead, Miami, which has hosted races in the past. Usually it was always the final round for a number of years, but this time we're going to do this spring race this year here at Phoenix.
We are going to do the spring race here at Phoenix. A little bit about this track. It was opened in 1964. It is one of the oldest auto racing facilities in the United States. For a long time, it was a haven for open wheel competition. It was the host of the Jimmy Bryan Memorial. That was the long-standing IndyCar date in the spring. That is the traditional date that we are racing at now. The Jimmy Bryan Memorial, named for Phoenix native Indy 500 winner, Race of Two Worlds winner, and USAC national champion Jimmy Bryan. The fall race. There was a fall IndyCar race here as well called the Bobby Ball Memorial, and that ran from 1964 until 1986. It was dropped from the Champ Car schedule in 1987. The spring event lasted until 2005. It came back in 2016. It left again in 2018. It was replaced by the stock cars, and now we've got the duel in the desert. Indy cars on Saturday, stock cars on Sunday. It kind of mirrors, Caleb, what used to be called the Copper World Classic, when they would bring sprint cars, midget cars, Silver Crown cars, Indy cars, dirt cars. There's a dirt oval out here. They would bring all of that stuff out here and run for a full weekend. This track also, Caleb, used to have a road course. We all know the famous opening that used to be where the dog leg is. There was a road course back there. They do EDM concerts here. In the 2020s, it's really become very much a multi-use facility. The track was reconfigured in 2018 to its current format. The front stretch was moved to where the dogleg is. The front straight grandstands were removed, and it became a much more stock car friendly facility, very highly banked. And the unique part about this track, Caleb, you can sit on the side of a mountain and watch the race here. How about that?
Yeah, that's one of the unique features. We're out in the middle of the mountains here in Phoenix, Arizona. So you really get, some of the coolest views. I remember a couple of my buddies, but way back in the day, they used to come out here for the truck races back then, and they used to sit on the mountains right off what is currently turns 1 and 2, but back then it was turns 3 and 4, and they just had the most beautiful view of this track on a NASCAR weekend. But that's something interesting, Murph, is that this track has gone through a massive reconfiguration to where it's slightly different, and in terms of like the actual corners themselves. However, there are you able to use a significant more amount of apron, Murph, which is something we really haven't seen so far this season.
No, so if you were watching the iRacing IndyCar Series race, you would notice the open wheel cars. They don't use the apron here. It would definitely upset the balance of those machines. The stock cars, they can cut that dog leg all the way down to the inner fence. You will also see the stock cars move all the way move onto the apron in what is now turns 1 and 2 to try to gain position. That's going to be especially effective in the opening laps of a run. I'm going to look. There's one guy in particular that I'm going to focus on. David Dunwoody is famous within the AMA for doing that. The name of the hill, by the way, or the mountain it's called Rattlesnake Hill. is what it's called over there, and it's now terraced into stadium seating. It used to be, I can remember back in the day, you used to see cowboys riding their horses up there, but now it's all terraced. It's part of the Speedway grounds, and it's very beautiful. I did want to mention, Caleb, that for this 1 mile oval, the lap records are as follows. For the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Justin Allgaier, the Little Gator, 2018 DC Solar 200, 27,234. We have drivers under that track record here this evening. The outright track record is held by Tony Kanaan, 2016 Desert Diamond West Valley Phoenix Grand Prix, 19.7379 miles an hour. The former road course here, which again, it would go out of the facility. It would go out of the facility on the backstretch. They would use some of the road course in the desert. They would come back in the opening of the dog leg. You can kind of see some of the remnants of that road course behind the grandstand there. 2.430 kilometers. IMSA GTPs hold the record. Juan Manuel Fangio II and a Dan Gurney Eagle Mark III, 50.695, and that is hauling it, Caleb.
You know, fun fact, I actually just learned that they went outside of the track on the road courses. Murph, I only thought they did the infield there.
No, so the road course here, that was why there was the opening in the dog leg. The road course exited the track. You can kind of see it on the bottom of your screen where it would go out and around down through there. They've demolished most of it now for parking, but yeah, the road course went in the oval and outside, and it used the front straight. It was a very unique facility. With a couple of minutes left in practice, let's take a look at who is fastest in practice. Caleb, you got any guesses?
Well, you always got the classic of Ryan O'Donohue and, of course, Greg Evans that have both done very, very well so far this season. I'm going to guess it's one of those two here, Murph.
You know, Caleb, as always, you provide the good guess, and in this case, once again, you are incorrect. The fast lap out there right now is held by Peyton Howell, 26,908, 133.789 miles an hour. So we are under the official track record for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Grand National cars, which once again, Justin Allgaier, 27,234. So we're about 3/10 under that. Ryan O'Donohue, Julian Valadez, Greg Evans, Bladen Edwards, Riley Lean, and Riley Lean are all under it. Sam Crow, 27,237 is right at the track record. The AMA track record is held by Kyle Turzak at 26,806. And that was set last year in this event. Past winners here include Kendall Paul. We've run 3 events here at Phoenix. This is the 4th iteration. The largest margin of victory, that was set by Kendall Paul last year, just over a second. We've had some barn burners here. Caleb, care to take a guess at who owns the most passes in AMA history at the Phoenix Raceway?
Is it Mr. Excitement?
It is most definitely Mr. Excitement. He passed 38 cars here last spring, and for a track that is difficult to pass on notoriously in an open wheel car or a stock car, that's pretty impressive, past 38 cars. So they will be able to race. Specifics here tonight, stages are at 45 and 90. The total distance is going to be 200 laps. They've got 4 sets of tires, 3 in the pits, 1 on the car. Fuel tanks are full. They can go the first 2 stages, Caleb, without making a pit stop. They will have to stop in that final stage.
Yeah, it's estimated they should be around 75 to 80 laps. Obviously, with how much their fuel's saving, they could possibly even push that to 85 laps if they are really, really conservative. But we know we will get a pit stop in that third stage. It's just a matter of fact of whether or not they choose to do an undercut, whether or not they choose to pit a little bit later, try the overcut strategy. We'll see a bit of strategy here on the short tracks.
We most certainly will. It's going to be when you make that final stop is going to be key to whomever is going to win this race and pull their car into victory lane tonight. Phoenix is also, Caleb, one of the tracks in the service where you can pull your car into victory lane. And so a win here in any series is always sought after because you get that picture right down there in victory circle if you are victorious. We do have qualifications underway, and let's go on board with Crash Neon. Crash Neon is out on the course. Weather for qualifications, 71 degrees in the air, 72 on the track. It is overcast. The sun is going down. Crash Neon, his first lap is in the books. It did not count. Crash Neon got an X on his first lap, so it did not count. We are on board the roll hoop with Crash Neon. Normally an open wheel competitor, known more of an open wheel competitor as opposed to a stock car competitor, but he is out here tonight in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. And there he goes, Crash Neon to the top of the board for about a second. His lap, 28.004. Julian Valadez has bettered that as of now. Let's take a look at Ryan O'Donohue. We'll jump inside his eyeballs, Caleb.
Yes, we will. You see him coming off turn number 2 there onto the back straightaway. He's currently on his warm-up lap, and typically we do see a bit of difference sometimes here on the short tracks. Sometimes you see drivers think their first lap is the quickest. Sometimes you'll see drivers think their second lap is the quickest. Most of the time, it usually is the second lap, but it's not too often. You will see a first lap be faster, as we see Ryan O'Donohue go onto the back straightaway for his first lap. We'll see what lap time he is able to do. He rides the high line. Obviously, with that high line run, he's going to try to send it all for lap number 2. Sets a 28.207 for his first lap.
He most certainly is. He's already working through turns 1 and 2. We're on board Ryan O'Donohue, second quickest in practice. You hear him babying the throttle as he comes through turns 1 and 2. Here's Ryan O'Donohue down through 3 and 4, the sharp end of the speedway. He's going to come off here. He's going to get right out against the wall. Ryan O'Donohue across the line. His second lap, 27.068, and he will vault to the top of the board. That's a quick lap under the outright track record for Ryan O'Donohue. How about David Dunwoody? I talked about Dunwoody. He sits on pit lane. This is going to be the car that you want to watch, race fans, at the beginning of the race. He's going to be the one that drops his car down to the apron in turns 1 and 2, trying to grab as many spots as possible. And let's watch his lap as he goes out, and we'll just watch it as normal. This is David Dunwoody in the Blackmagic Studios number 28. Got a lot of chrome on that car, Caleb.
I do like a bit of chrome on my cars. Obviously, with the USA livery I rocked a couple weeks ago, I pretty much turned the chrome up to the max quickly here. Peyton Howell has set the fastest time with a 26.953. We'll see what David Dunwoody does as he goes through turns 1 and 2. Coming onto the back straightaway, it gets a little tight on exit there. We'll see what he's able to do on this first time round.
Yeah, David Dunwoody, he's coming off of turn number 4. He's across the line. Lap 1 in the books. It's going to be 20th quick. David Dunwoody, now 21st, 27.777. Now remember, the second lap is likely going to be the quickest. That's the money lap. Dunwoody a little bit loose coming off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, formerly the front. Into turn number 3, almost down to the white line. He immediately arcs it out. Dunwoody is going to come across the line, and just like that, his second lap is in the books. 27.781 for David Dunwoody. That is quicker, but it does not move him up in the standings. So David Dunwoody is going to start 21st. As the clock ticks down, we've got ourselves a grid, Caleb Brashear. On the pole, it is with a lap of 135.145 miles an hour. It is Peyton Howell. Ryan O'Donohue, his loyal shadow, will start his outside. O'Donohue second quick. Second row, Greg Evans, Julian Valadez. Row number 3 is going to be shared by Kendall Paul and Riley Lean. Ro Alvis will go on row 4. He'll have Sam Crow next to him in one of the DVD Motorsports specials. Row number 5, John Hutchins, the number 72, and Mike Rigney. He's running a paint scheme in honor of John Van Veralis this evening. Our old friend John recently passed away. Mike is running his old paint scheme. He'll go from 10th. Lee Campbell will start 11th. Say hey in the plain white wrapper. Say hey Lewis Hayes will go from 12th. That's another special paint scheme. Robert Turnbull, his father-in-law is running. His father-in-law honored tonight. Robert is a loyal P1 viewer. Former truck driver. His CB handle is Grease Monkey, and that's why you see Grease Monkey on the side of that machine. I know that they've got a group of people that watch these races, play poker, and enjoy the evening. And so, hello to Robert. Thank you so much for tuning in, and good luck to Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He'll go from 12th. Troy Carricker is 13th. Rick D. Fallis, the Marty Robbins special, he'll go from 14th. Alan Steigerwalt, Crash Neon, 15th and 16th. Row number 9. Andrew Jones and Joshua Siegfried, Luke Reed, and Randy Dunlap will start from row number 10. The 11th row, starting 21st, David Dunwoody. We watched his lap. Andrew Gates is 22nd. Sebastian Rodriguez, 23rd. Donald Green, 24th. Brian Sharp, Eric Corder, 25th and 26th. Bladen Edwards, Sergio Abella. They're going to go from row 14. And then Dylan Blankenship, Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman will start 29th and 30th. These cars did not qualify. Ted Craven, Chad Meadows, and Keith Graham will make up the balance of the field. And we need to get back to the pace car because we are already getting ready and set to go. The green flag here at Phoenix, Caleb, it comes quick.
Yes, it does. You'll see them round turns number 3 and 4. A lot of times in IndyCar, you'll see them jump right when that pace car enters pit lane. We are green flag. Green flag is fine, and Peyton Howell is going to lead them to the start of this 200-mile race.
Everybody safely through, and already you see cars filing down. Already you've got cars to the apron. We've got the camera to show you if anybody makes that dive down all the way to the bottom so far. Everybody respects the track limits, Caleb, and we are already through lap 1 here at Phoenix.
Yeah, a bit shorter of a lap than what we've experienced in the past here, Murphy. This is our first short track of the season and the first proper oval, I would say, to be completely honest, as we see Peyton Howell lead the field away. This is where we really see the driver talents of the Grand National Series step out, and you see that immediately with Peyton Howell, Julian Valadez, Greg Evans, and Raul Alvis leading the field away as they start lap number 3.
Yeah, they do. Peyton Howell jumped out to nearly a 7/10 of a second lead. Julian Valadez begins to blink a little bit, and he's got Raul Alvis and Greg Evans behind him. Alvis make a pass on Evans going into turn number 1. Evans has a challenge immediately behind him. That's Ryan O'Donohue and Riley Lean. Kendall Paul is immediately in back of them. A little bit further back in the field, we've got caution. Donald Green is around. Caution is on the speedway for the number 6 car of Donald Green. He has gone around, and here it is, coming off of turn number 2. Caleb, that car got light with him, and it just drove itself right into the inside retaining wall. Big damage for Donald Green. He's got the meatball. He'll have to respect that. Keith Graham smacks the fence, attempting to avoid. Graham should be okay. He'll be able to come in and get that automobile fixed. Ted Craven, the teddy bear, also is in the last spot. That's Ted Craven's car immediately behind him, but that's the reason for the caution. And you're going to see some of the cars in the back, they're going to hit pit lane.
Yeah, that might just be to top up on fuel. May as well just take it if you're already in the back. I wouldn't see why you would take tires, especially this early on, only lap 4. You may as well just top up on fuel. The 4 cars on pit lane, Keith Graham, Sergio Alba, Donald Green, and Randy Dunlap, all hit pit road. They were already in the back of the field. May as well just top up and just take that slightly shorter pit stop when we do get a proper pit cycle, I should say.
Absolutely. I mean, look, at the end of the pit stop, you're waiting on fuel. You might as well chop. If you can chop a couple of tenths off of that stop, Caleb, you know what? You're gonna move a little bit further back up toward the field. Do want to congratulate Peyton Howell on the Simshop Pole Award. Simshop.com, www.simshop.com. Just keep driving. Cautions in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series are brought to you by Admin Box. Admin Box is a custom button box solution for league owners, people that do a lot of hosted sessions, admins out there. If you need a custom button box to help you do race control, head over to adminbox.com. They'll get you fixed up with a custom button box that will give you race control at the touch of a button. Caleb, one of these days I'll get my ad read straight. The pace car has jumped on off. Now, in an Indy car, you would see guys streak away right now. In the stock cars, they have to wait for the restart zone. The restart zone is way, way, way up toward the start-finish line.
Yeah, that's just one of the characteristics of the new Phoenix track, was how early pit entry is and how late pit exit is. As we see Payne now lead them away once again. Raul Abbas is going to jump that second line there. He's going to immediately file into second, get around Julian Valadez as we see the cars fan out through turns 1 and 2.
We do indeed. Peyton Howell gets the drop, and he's got teammate Raul Alvis behind him. Julian Valadez is third, so those 3 veterans make up the front 3. Greg Evans, Ryan O'Donohue are fourth. Riley Lean and Kendall Paul, they're going to have at it. This is for the 6th spot, and this is the first battle on the track. Riley Lean is going to come out as the winner there. Kendall Paul will drop back to 7th. Other action further through the field, there's Rick Fallis. This is 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Rick Fallis, Sebastian Rodriguez, David Dunwoody. They're nearly 3 wide, Caleb.
Yeah, they're 3 wide, but we saw Luke Reed, I believe, back out there. Or not Luke Reed, David Dunwoody back up there. And we talked about Dunwoody earlier. He should be a strong contender, but he's going to have to make up all that time. Cars still kind of going... Still 2x2, but they are starting to fan out here as we see Donald Green may be the first retirement of the session.
Car in the wall, car in the wall, car in the wall. I believe that is Chad Meadows. No, that is the number 20 machine of Luke Reed. Got into the wall over there. You see Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. He'll sneak through. Osterman is in the 24th spot, but Luke Reed got in the wall, and you can see the back end on that number 20 machine is caved in. He'll work to the outside of the 13 of Andrew Gates. We'll go back to Rick D, and there he is. He's underneath Dunwoody, and Rick D. Fallis, that's a veteran of the ISRA series. He is starting to come toward the front, Caleb.
Yes, he is, and we see the cars fanning out single file. They're being fairly patient early on at Phoenix because most of these drivers know, and we haven't really talked about yet here, Murph, as we work lap number 12 here, as Peyton Howe crosses the line. We haven't talked about tire wear. This is probably going to be the most important track we have seen so far to where tire wear is going to play a factor.
Yeah, so race number 1, Daytona, as we watch Rick D, David Dunwoody. Dunwoody goes through on the outside of Fallis, and he's going to work to the outside of Alan Steigerwald. Again, we're battling for the 20th spot. Everything else is more or less even Steven. Greg Evans has pulled up behind Julian Valadez. There's the front. Just so the fans at home can see it. Peyton Howell has pulled away by over a second. You got to think, Daytona, tires didn't matter. Atlanta, drafting track, tires mattered a little bit, but they weren't a huge deal. COTA, tires may have mattered a little bit, but it's a road course. Nobody's going to stop under green. Here, this is the first race where tire management and tire strategy are going to play a key role in who rolls their car into victory lane. Peyton Howell streaking away, but it may not always be that way. He had Raul Alvis right behind him, the loyal teammate, the loyal second, but Julian Valadez and Greg Evans are all over the back of that number 23 Toyota.
Yeah, we've seen this pack. They kind of haven't separated from each other. Raul Alvis leading the field away. You see them fan out. Raul Alvis sticking to what is actually considered the track as they almost make contact. That is the Julian Valadez and Raul Alvis almost getting into each other as they went into turn number 1. But this front group has kind of broken away from the cars behind them. But they also haven't really gained much time on our leader of Peyton Howe.
They really haven't, and look, this is one of those situations where, they're racing hard, and when you start racing hard, you get side by side. Those leaders are just going to start pulling away from you. Meanwhile, that battle that we were tracking back deeper in the field, that's been won by David Dunwoody. He gets by Rick D. Fallis as well as Alan Steigerwald and Hey Lewis Hayes. Dunwoody starts to begin his march forward a little bit further ahead of him. You've got Joshua Siegfried. He's on the bottom, and he's going to go after the plain white wrapper of Lee Campbell. And so that's 14th and 15th under dispute. We'll keep an eye on that, but we're going to head back to the front because Greg Evans has dropped to the bottom of Julian Valadez, and that's for 4th. Raul Alvis smacks the wall coming out of turn 2. Through goes Julian Valadez. Greg Evans is going to make a try as well. Raul Alvis slams the door, Caleb.
We got
caution, yellow flag.
19 goes around. Julian Valadez.
Julian Valadez hard into the wall. The rear bumper came off. It popped back on. But we have a caution at lap 18. It is Julian Valadez in the number 19 around out of turn number 4. Caution is on the speedway. And here we see it. He's in the outside groove. Almost really in lane 3. He's going to come off. You've got the 23 under him. And I believe that is not clear, Caleb.
No, it is not. You could kind of see Raul Alvis, and he did this. He hasn't really gone to the apron that much, and you could kind of see he wanted to take that very wide line and not really go through the apron that much. Meanwhile, in front, Julian Valadez really wanted to go to the apron. So it to me, it just looks like it's two lines just coming together and just a little bit of miscommunication between the two drivers there.
It could be Raul Alvis has headed his number 23 Simshop Toyota down the pit lane, and so he'll give up that hard-fought third spot, and he may have some damage from the wall contact, so he's going to come down and effect some repair. Lee Campbell also bringing his Ford Mustang down pit lane, the plain white wrapper, as is David Dunwoody. And so I didn't see Dunwoody hit anything, but this could be a situation where drivers are thinking maybe they take their tires now so that they can get up front for the second stage. Dunwoody did not stop, though. He just drove through, so interested to see what that was all about. Peyton Howell is your leader under the admin box caution flag. Race control at the touch of a button. Cautions brought to you by Admin Box. If you're a race controller, an admin, you do a lot of hosted sessions out there, hit them up. That's adminbox with 2x's.com. They'll fix you up. We do also want to thank everybody for tuning it in. Another nice crowd here tonight. Hit us up in the chat if you've got a question, an observation. Caleb and I would love to talk to you. We'll answer your questions as you put them in the chat. Feel free to do that. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so you can be involved in all of our iRacing broadcasts. It is week 13 out there next week, and so there aren't going to be any officials next week. Broadcasts on the channel are as follows. The Truck Series, Caleb, is off tomorrow, and so we will not be here tomorrow night. Saturday is free because the real life IndyCar race is on Saturday. And so the next race is Sunday. It's the Votive Indy Oval Series, Season 4, Round 4, from the Milwaukee Mile, 8 o'clock. And then the Horizon IndyCar Series from Pocono will go at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. And then we'll be right back here for the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series from Las Vegas a week from tonight at 8:20 p.m. Pace car has pulled into the pit lane. Peyton Howell has the field under his command. And we are once again ready to roll here at Phoenix in the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. Peyton Howell streaks away one more time, but now it's Ryan O'Donohue. He's under Greg Evans for second.
Yeah, he is, and you see them go too wide, and we saw a brief three. I saw a brief 3 wide for second there, going through that initial start there. But you see Greg Evans. He hasn't really been at the front of this second place battle, and he finds himself there now. Meanwhile, behind him, Ryan O'Donohue and Kendall Paul fighting for that third place spot, as you kind of see the cars now starting to spread out. But do any of these drivers have anything for our leader, Peyton Howell? Greg Evans is kind of closing that gap a little bit here, Murph.
Yeah, there's Greg Evans, and he is on the hunt. We're going to pay some stage points here in 17 laps as we start lap number 24. Hey, Greg Evans wants those stage points. We'll jump up on the roof cam for Greg Evans. We'll get you the telemetry in there. He is hunting the leader here at Phoenix. Greg Evans wants those stage points for the stage win. Championship fight. You got to get him, Caleb.
Yes, you do. And one driver that is absolutely fighting for these stage points and fighting for a championship positional here is Bladen Edwards. Started 27th in this race. He's in the top 5 here, Murph. He has absolutely clawed his way through the field, and he is now pulling away from that 6th place spot of Kendall Paul.
Yes, he is. There's John Hutchins. He's also made some forward progress up from the 9th spot. Crash Neon has made up 8 spots. He's currently 8th. He started 16th. Andrew Jones is 9th. He started 17th. And old Sam Crow runs along in the 10th spot. He's down a couple, but don't count him out just yet. He's got his buddy Mike Rigney right behind him. They are 10th and 11th. And really, the front of this field has been shaken up. Peyton Howell is now a half second up over Greg Evans. Riley Lean and Ryan O'Donohue, they're 3rd and 4th. And Bladen Edwards in the 5th spot. Caleb, he's coming. You are 100% right. Bladen Edwards is on the march. We'll jump on board Bladen Edwards, and you can see the lights in the gauges of that. The lights on the gauges inside that Toyota Supra, they're on. The sun is starting to go down, Caleb.
Yeah, the race usually starts during the sunset hours here at Phoenix, and then they'll end in the nighttime. You see it all the time during the championship races, whether it be not only this track but at Homestead. Well, obviously we're in the springtime, so this is a normal regular season race now for these Grand National drivers, but they still treat it the same. Sunset, as the start time. Sun goes down, the track will be a little bit cooler. Obviously, with the more running we do, the track will build up marbles, but with the sun going down, it'll get a little bit cooler. So it should be a very, very greasy track as we progress through the run here.
It most certainly should. It most certainly should get racier as we go. There are the current conditions: 76 in the air, 83 on the track. It is partly cloudy. So the sun did peek out for a little bit at the start of this race, but it's going to start going down, and when it goes down, the lights are going to come on, and you're going to see this Phoenix track get very, very racy. Ryan O'Donoghue works his way under Riley Lean, and they're going to do battle for that third spot. Lean is going to be able to hold him off just for now, but Caleb, don't count out Ryan O'Donoghue. He is sneaky fast, and I know he's been working with the old grizzled veterans, Sam Crow, Mike Rigney, Hey Lewis Hayes. The veterans are on that team are a little bit further back, but they've been teaching him a lot about tire management, a lot about race management. Hard lick for the wall for Bladen Edwards there coming off of turn number 2. But they've been teaching him a lot about tire and race management. Ryan O'Donoghue looking to have staying power at the front, not just be fast for one lap, and he's certainly been able to do that here. Started second, currently fourth. Back a little bit further in the pack, we've got a dispute, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Crash Neon to the outside. He's got Andrew Jones to the top. Sam Crow is the interested party right behind them in 10th.
Yeah, you see Sam Crow kind of weaving back and forth. He's trying to find a lane for his number 8 car there, and he looks like he's going to get up the inside. Crash Neon still holding the track. He's going to lose a couple of positions there to Sam Crow and Andrew Jones. Sam Crow looking around the outside of Andrew, going to get the cutback through turn number 2, and behind them, Crash Neon now has Joshua Siegfried on his inside.
Alan Steigerwalt make that. Siegfried is going to go to the inside as well. There's Crash. He is in the 00, the Mountain Dew machine. He's got Siegfried all the way down to the apron. Siegfried dives it to the inside 1 and 2. Now you can make that move, Caleb. You can make that move going all the way down to the apron. It'll get you alongside somebody. But look, you're also going to have a problem when you come. That was close. You're going to have a problem coming down to. Turns 3 and 4, because if there's a car up there, you don't have the angle to make turns 1 and 2 correctly.
Yeah, that's a bit of the trickiness. Some drivers are able to make it work. Obviously, in the Real Life Series, you had Corey Heim with that incredible 7 wide pass where he went all the way to the bottom, all the way almost to the wall. He was able to make it sick and get a run on the rest of the drivers. Obviously, it was a little bit different tire strategy, but when you go to that apron, you're scrubbing a lot of speed. So you're just hoping if you do go down there, you clear the driver that you're going side by side with.
Not only that, but the angle, if there's somebody up there, the angle to get through turns 1 and 2 is awful. It's really difficult to get your car through the corner if you go all the way down to the apron. We'll hop on board Dylan Blankenship. He's made it up to the 14th spot from 29th. Watch this. So Blankenship went down there. He was able to come back up to get the angle, but he's trying to get underneath Crash Neon. That's going to be 13th spot for Blankenship, and a heck of a drive for him. But there's Blankenship, and I'm kind of hoping he'll do the thing where he has to stay to the inside, and the fans at home can see just what you have to do when you go all the way down there like that, he's going to go down. He goes a little bit lower than Neon, not able to make the shortcut this time. Alan Steigerwalt has gotten underneath Sam Crow. They're going to do battle for 9th and 10th. Interested party is Siegfried in 11th, and Troy Carricker is right behind them. Carricker, Caleb, he's had an interesting day thus far. Started 13th. He's been as low as 15th. He's been as high as 10th. Kind of right around there. But Troy Carricker runs on again in that 12th spot. So there's Troy Carricker. Battle settled ahead of him. Sam Crow stays ahead of Alan Steigerwalt and Joshua Siegfried. But I have a feeling this isn't done, Caleb.
Right as you say that 87 goes to the inside of Sam Crow, able to get a good run off the corner. He goes to the apron. He's going to clear Sam Crow. And is that going to bring the number 99 Joshua Siegfried with him? They're still side by side through in the front as they go through turns 1 and 2. Ooh, Steigerwalt is going to have that inside line. Sam Crow is going to have to run off the corner. Oh, they make a little bit of contact.
They made a little bit of contact with each other. Sam Crow may have banged the car off the wall a little bit. Troy Carricker may have banged his car off the wall behind him. Never mind that. We are across the line, and we should, Caleb, be approaching the end of Track Racer Stage number 1. That's going to happen at lap with the completion of 45 laps. The 10th car that crosses the line, we will throw the stage break caution, and so we're waiting on that. At the front, it's Peyton Howell, and there's the advantage he holds over Greg Evans. Riley Lean and Ryan O'Donohue are still going after it for 3rd and 4th. O'Donohue on the bottom. Riley Lean's kind of making a diamond out of the corner there, Caleb. And with that, he's able to hold a lot more momentum over Ryan O'Donohue and hold on to that 3rd spot.
Yeah, that's what it's not a typical short track we have here at Phoenix. The corners feel very, very wide, so you kind of have to do a diamond shape. You know, get it turned in early, slide up the track.
Whoa! We just cut to Sebastian Rodriguez, and he is around. He makes contact. They go 3 wide. He made contact with Mike Rigney, and now he's going to get the plain white wrapper of Lee Campbell as he comes through. Hard impact for Campbell. Caution is on the speedway. Sebastian Rodriguez, and this is going to be the end of Track Racer Stage number 1, and we're going to get back and see what happened to Sebastian Rodriguez. He's racing along with Mike Rigney, Crash Neon. You've got the 19 of Julian Valadez back in there, and here we go. Watch Sebastian Rodriguez. He's the 98 dark blue aqua blue car there. He and Rigney make contact going through the dog leg. It shoots Rodriguez sideways and right in to the 19 car of Julian Valadez. He bounces back up into Rigney. There's some net code there, and around goes Valadez. And watch what happens to Lee Campbell as Valadez straightens out. Campbell tries to go to the bottom. He just barely gets touched. He collects Brian Sharp, and Lee Campbell and Brian Sharp both collect the outside retaining wall, and this will be the end of Track Racer Stage number 1. The winner of Track Racer Stage number 1 is going to be Peyton Howell, and there he is. If you go to trackracer.com, and I'll put the link in the chat, if you go to trackracer.com and you use the extension after it, 5% of your order will go to the AMA prize pool that is distributed at the end of the season. That's www.trackracer.com / and then a question mark, ref equals 123. If you go there, you will 5% of your order from Track Racer will go to the AMA prize pool. Do want to thank Shelby Carricker for dropping in as always. Thank you so much for the super chats, Shelby. We love you as always. There's your man, Troy Carricker. He is going to be accredited with the 12th spot in stage break for Track Racer stage break number 1. One position up on where he started. So there's Troy Carricker in the 94. Peyton Howell is going to be credited with the stage win. And with that, Caleb, once the pits open, we are going to see everybody drop onto pit lane and get themselves some tires.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see a different strategy here. We saw at Atlanta some drivers actually not take tires and they just topped up on fuel. But I imagine we'll see at least the majority, if not all the field, take all 4 tires here.
You know, I would be on that for Mr. Feelgood bandwagon myself, Caleb. After 45 laps, that's about all I want on a set. You know, and again, as we watch Peyton Howell come down and make his pit stop, that's going to be the strategy call in this third stage. How long do you want to stretch that third set of tires? Sergio Abella is going to stay out. Now, he did stop during one of the prior cautions, as did David Dunwoody. So, as I suspected, they may have taken tires early. The second stage, as you know, Caleb, and as our fans at home may also know, is the shortest of the 3, given the caution laps. It's really only going to be 42 laps under green. And so if you stay out, you've got a shortened stage. Metaphorically speaking, there were some cautions for Dunwoody and Abella. So, hey, you know, they probably only got 15 hard laps on their tires. Why not stay out, right?
Yeah, just have an extra set at the end or possibly gain track position. I don't remember if David Dunwoody took tires during his pit stop or not. I wasn't exactly looking, but I imagine if they didn't take a set of tires, that puts them at an advantage toward the end of the run. If we do get that late stage caution towards the end of this race, they have that extra set of tires, and we might see, you know, a Corey Heim situation where they could just send it up the inside, go into that apron, and just have the freshest set of tires and send it. But pace car is in. We are ready to start stage number 2 here, Murph.
We are indeed waiting for the field to file through and get to the flag stand. There they come around turns number 3 and 4. Barney's got the green flag in the air. Sergio Abella, David Dunwoody are in that front row, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the field files through. Immediately to the bottom goes Peyton Howell, and there's that powerful move on new tires you were talking about, Caleb. He shot from third to the lead, and they are 3 wide behind him.
And we got a spinner on the inside on the apron there. I wasn't able to catch who that was, but they are nearly 3 wide coming off turn 2.
It is Riley. It is Riley Lean. He is around. We want to cover what's at the front of the field because they are bouncing off of one another. Kendall Paul is around. Roll all this contact and caution. So several things to unpack. That is a huge break for Riley Lean because his original spin did not draw a caution. And so here's what happened to Riley Lean. He's got the 23 of Arola Alvis behind him. They are headed toward the front. You see, Peyton Howell makes the power move. They are temporarily 3 wide. That's Greg Evans there racing with Lean. And Riley Lean gets it pinched too hard on cold tires on the bottom. Dunwoody up in the wall on the top. Around he goes. We'll keep it with Kendall Paul. Now, Riley Lean didn't really hit anything, so he's in good shape. Kendall Paul slots in behind David Dunwoody. He's got Rola Alvis and Ryan O'Donoghue behind him. Dunwoody goes to the bottom in turns 3 and 4. Kendall Paul's got, he's trapped behind the two cars on older tires. 3 wide, and there's the light touch from Alvis. Around goes Kendall Paul. Thankfully, I don't think anybody else is going to get collected here, Caleb.
No, it seemed to be a very sole or 1 to 2 car incident. So thankfully, none of the rest of the field got collected. Sometimes with these short tracks, you just get a quick pile up, and you kind of see that with every track we've done too, except for COTA. But thankfully, not too many cars involved. A lot of the cars that were involved do seem to have repairable damage, or at least they seem to have repairable damage. So we should be going back under green just after a quick, green or 1 lap stint there. But
we
are going to lead them off.
We are indeed. It is 51 laps complete here in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. We are under caution we are under the admin box caution. It's on lap 51 with 51 complete. We do want to honor one of our fellow community members. I flew the Area 51 banner before during the pre-race show in his honor. But it was announced yesterday evening that Jim Brooks, one of the founding members of the Area 51 series, has passed away. Jim Brooks was a wonderful competitor, a friend to everybody in the iRacing community that knew him. It is a privilege and an honor for me to have called Jim my friend. He was an Ironman with 93,713 miles driven over 558 starts in the Area 51 series. He is the only driver to have ever completed the Around the World Challenge in Area 51. That is start a race at every track in Area 51. So our condolences to Jim's family, and we will honor him on lap 51 of every broadcast on P1 this week. Green flag is back out. Peyton Howell streaks away into the lead one more time. Greg Evans is second. How about David Dunwoody? That caution kind of bailed him out, Caleb. He got to restart up in the 3rd spot, and Dunwoody is right back after it. He only fell to 4th, and the more caution laps that happen, the more the benefit for David Dunwoody.
Yeah, it does, but if we go green flag, that's going to be the exact opposite of what he kind of needs right now. With those worn tires, everybody's just going to sail around him. But if he can make these tires laps, just keep out in front of the rest of the field and pray for a few more caution laps, it should go his way, and he should jump from about the mid to back of the field all the way up to the front and stay there.
It is indeed. Dunwoody fighting hard, and remember, he's only got to go to lap 90, so 35 laps from now or thereabouts. David Dunwoody, if he can find his level at, say, 15th, well, he was running about 30th, and Dunwoody gets a little tap, gets to the inside wall, little kiss, no harm, no foul, but he's going to drop back to the ninth spot, and cars are passing him now in wholesale fashion. Here comes Troy Carricker after Sam Crow. Carricker is going to go to the outside. Dunwoody all the way to the apron. Carricker, he got sideways, and he'll be passed by the 19 of Julian Valadez, who after an earlier spin is trying to work himself back to the front, Caleb.
Yeah, they come side by side off the corner. David Dunwoody on his inside. That is the 19 of Julian Valadez. Two drivers that have been towards the back of the field. They're trying to get Julian Valadez is trying to get up towards the front. Meanwhile, David Dunwoody is trying to stay where he's at with those older tires. But Julian Valadez started towards the front of this field. He is currently in the made his way back into the top 10. So he's had a good comeback with less than halfway to go in this race here, Murph.
He most certainly has. We're going to hop on board Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. He runs along in the 14th spot. There's Dunwoody up to the top. Action all over Phoenix, and you've got a ringside seat. Troy Carricker and Alan Steigerwald out the windshield, and Mr. Excitement, he passed. He has the series record for cars passed in a race here, and he's trying to do it one more time. Osterman up 16 spots, make that 17 as he goes past David Dunwoody. Justin Osterman trying to get himself to the front of the field.
Yeah, you see him in that number 53 on the inside. As you see a car in pit lane there, but they fan out in the apron nearly 3 wide. They are still 3 wide coming off the corner as they go into 26 on the inside. Riley Lean is going to have that inside line, but Osterman is going to come on the outside, get a good run off the corner. But so does Riley Lean. Are going to go side by side down the backstretch into turn number 3.
They do indeed. We're going to hop on board the roll bar from Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He's got a ringside seat. He'll go to the outside of Riley Lean. Lean all the way down. He takes the shortcut. Say Hey Lewis Hayes filters in behind him. Lewis Hayes, he's having himself a heck of a run. He started up front, went a little bit to the back. He's coming back toward the front. But there's Say Hey Lewis Hayes in the Robert Turnbull special. Again, the Grease Monkey trying to climb his way back up to the top.
Right from Riley Lee barely tapping the wall there. He wants to get back towards that front of the pack. He was fighting for the top 3 position early on in this race. Finds himself back in that 14th spot, and he's got Say Lewis Hayes all over his rear bumper.
He does indeed. We're going to move back toward the front just a little bit. You're looking at Crash Neon. John Hutchins, Sam Crow, and Julian Valadez has entered that chat. He's back up into the top 10. He'll look to the outside of Crow while Hutchins works on the inside of Crash Neon. This is 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th spot. So battling throughout the field here. All of these cars are starting to get a little twitchy coming off of turn number 2. That's old turn number 4. The 19 of Valadez looks to the inside of Sam Crow. Can't quite make it stick. And this is one of those tracks, Caleb, where the outside can be very, very powerful.
Yeah, the banking of the track is slightly more than most short tracks you see, especially in turns 3 and 4. So you're able to ride that outside line if you're able and get a really good run off the corner. As you see, Sam Crow looking up the inside there, poked his nose in. He's able to get a really good run off the corner. But you see, as we were talking about that outside line, and caution's out.
Caution is on the speedway. We have a pile of cars, as they would say in Smokey and the Bandit. Sergio Abella is among those involved. Brian Sharp is involved. You see Joshua Siegfried is involved. Contact for Sergio Abella, and let's see what we can see here for Sergio. Ooh, he got hit hard. The actual cause of the contact is going to happen ahead of him. That would be the 13 of Andrew Gates got in the wall hard. Keith Graham gets into him, and then, my goodness gracious, the number 1 of Ted Craven hit Sergio Abella hard. That collects Siegfried. And let's have a look at it from the viewpoint of the teddy bear, Ted Craven. So here we go. We're on board with Craven. Watch what happens ahead of him. There's the contact. There's the wall for the 13. And just nowhere to go for the teddy bear. He's hard in the wall. Siegfried crashing behind him. Here's Joshua Siegfried. And we'll kind of look at it from his vantage point as well. Again, this is halftime. Not a lot of time to react here, Caleb.
No, especially on a short track, it just comes up on you so fast. It kind of, and with very little time to react, because sometimes, with how close the pack is together, sometimes you don't even see it until you're right on top of it. But Andrew Gates has retired from this race. He was involved in that incident, so he will retire from this race. Lucky Dog Randy Dunlap is going to get his lap back. He's currently past the pace car. Going to be back on, I believe, the lead lap here. No, he's going to be 3 laps down now.
So he'll get one of his laps back, and he gets that lap back via the Lucky Dog because he was the first car not involved, a lap down, not involved in the caution flag. If in iRacing, the way that works is if you're involved in the caution, if you get what they call an X, an incident point, you don't get the benefit of the Lucky Dog, and so it just goes down the line to whomever is the first car laps down that wasn't involved in the caution. We're going to show the restart from a little bit of a different angle. There's where the pace car comes off, right? And now the cars go all the way down the backstretch under pace car speed here. They have to hold pace car speed until they get to the restart zone, and you can tell where that is. One, because the sponsor is going to holler green, 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 but also it's painted on the wall right there.
Green, green, green.
Here we go. We'll go back and kind of focus on Crash Neon because this is where the action is going to happen. You see the cars filing all the way down to the bottom. It is worth mentioning David Dunwoody did not stop, and a little bit of contact between Riley Lean and Crash Neon. Sam Crow is to the outside. Meanwhile, the cars ahead of them, they're all over the place. Peyton Howell is really moved away. Bladen Edwards has gotten in a second, but they are in a scrap behind him.
It's a complete scrap up and down the field. It hasn't spread out like we have seen early on these restarts. Bladen Edwards in that second spot. Ryan O'Donohue was looking up the inside of, or was on the outside of Greg Evans there. They're going to go side by side through the kink here.
They are indeed. Remember, we're down inside of 20 laps here, Caleb, to decide the stage. Peyton Howell has led at will pretty much for the entire way. The battle is behind him. You're looking at second place, Bladen Edwards. Third, Ryan O'Donohue. Fourth, Greg Evans. Dylan Blankenship and Julian Valadez. They're going to go after it for fifth. Valadez is going to make the move as the plain white wrapper of Lee Campbell comes back out onto the speedway. I lost my words there for a second. Julian Valadez has been as low as 29th. Contact for Dylan Blankenship. He gets in the back of Valadez. Hold on, driver.
What a save. What a save from Julian Valadez there. Gets a little bit of a bump, but he's able not only to save the car, but almost keep that position there, Murph.
Yeah, he had kind of what I would call a lurid slide. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide. Kendall Paul drops to the bottom on Sam Crow and Dylan Blankenship. Crash Neon is involved, or Crash Neon and Dylan Blankenship, they're involved. Sam Crow squirts away, but Kendall Paul, he was around earlier. He went to the back. He wants to come to the front.
Yeah, we saw Kendall Paul fighting just outside that top 5 position, around the 7th spot there. And he currently is all the way back up into 10th. He's currently gained a little bit of position here on Sam Crow. He wants to get back around that driver and start fighting for a top 5 position here.
He does indeed, but they are fighting for the top 5 up ahead of him. This is Andrew Jones, Julian Valadez, and Riley Lean. Lean throws the slider. He's going to get ahead of Valadez. Valadez is going to try to pull the crossover off at turn 2. Not quite enough steam, and that is going to let John Hutchins get into this fight. It's worth mentioning Peyton Howell is your points leader. Greg Evans is second. He's down 20 markers. Ryan O'Donohue is third. John Hutchins fourth, David Dunwoody is fifth, Sam Crow, Troy Carricker, Raul Alvis, Andrew Jones, and Kendall Paul are the remainder of the top 10. Once we got out of the wild card races, the restrictor plates, and the road course event, we're going to see a lot of movement in those point standings as we get into the meat of the oval schedule. As we get into the meat of the oval schedule here, Caleb.
Yes, we do indeed. And meanwhile, that battle for the 5th spot still prevails. Andrew Jones has Riley Lean. Riley Lean sending it through turn number 1, but does Andrew Jones have the cutback? He's got a bit of a fender, but it's not going to be quite enough. Riley Lean able to get that position and now is in that 5th spot.
Riley Lean in that 5th spot. Andrew Jones wants it back. He's fallen to 6th. Julian Valadez had it at one point. He went for a slide. He's back at 7th, and now they're all kind of single file. They're all kind of single file. They'll settle themselves down. And just as I say that, Julian Valadez, he'll look to the inside of Andrew Jones, and they are awful close. They touch Andrew Jones around. Valadez hits it. Caution is out. Hard into the wall, Troy Carricker. Mike Rigney is involved. We are back under the admin box caution here in Blackmagic Studios, stage number 2. If you are a race controller, league admin, you do a lot of hosted series, head on over to adminbox.com and they'll fix you up with a custom button box for race controllers. Here you go. Valadez and Andrew Jones are battling, and the dispute here is over the 7th spot. There's the lightest of touches, and now they can't get off of each other.
Yeah, just a little bit of contact sent that car around. And it seemed to be like it wasn't just one bump. It was a series of bumps coming off turn 2 on that left rear of Andrew Jones. He gets sent around by Julian Valadez, and that just collects quite a few number of cars as they have to check up, and some of them were caught up in the incident there.
It is. Now here you're going to see Troy Carricker. Carricker also involved in the melee, and I think Troy Carricker got the worst of it. He does have the meatball. There you see Jones and Valadez in front of him. Carricker is going to get hit by, I believe, Alan Steigerwalt trying to check up for the incident. Hard to the inside wall. Same for Mike Rigney. Rick D. Fallis is also going to get a piece of the wall there at the end. I think Fallis and Rigney are going to be okay with repair, but Troy Carricker hard into the inside wall, and that car is going to be toast. He's got the meatball, and Carricker has already punched out of that machine. Meanwhile, we're going to have a good old-fashioned shootout here, Caleb, for the end of this stage. When we get back to green, we're only going to have 9 laps to decide who wins Blackmagic Studios stage number 2.
Yeah, as we say that, I believe I saw Peyton Howe zone out as he came across the start-finish line. He actually hit the wall there. I think he actually gave himself a little bit of damage doing that. I guess he just wants to make the race a little bit interesting as we see the pace car come off turn number 2 and into the pit lane. Peyton Howe's going to lead him off. He's got Bladen Edwards to his outside, who has had an absolutely incredible run. Started from 27th, and now he finds himself on the outside pole on this restart.
He does indeed. They're going to come around. There you see the restart zone, the red O'Reilly painted area on the outside wall. It's on the inside wall as well. Barney throws the green flag into the air, and the race will resume. It is worth noting Julian Valadez has a black flag that he will need to serve. That was not cleared by the league administration. Peyton Howell streaks away. Bladen Edwards and Ryan O'Donohue are going to battle over second spot. Greg Evans is right behind him in 4th. Riley Lean is 5th. Contact between O'Donohue and Edwards.
Yeah, on that initial start, they had a bit of contact going through the kink there, and they're going to make
Oh, there's a body slam, and there goes O'Donohue. O'Donohue saves it. Now will he get a black flag for going through the pit lane? Before that cone, technically, you are on the pit road, and so Ryan O'Donohue, they made a little bit of contact through turns 1 and 2. They come off of 3 and 4 through the dog's leg. There's the door slam. O'Donohue gets down through the pit exit and just hard contact with the inside wall. O'Donohue keeps it straight, but he has got to be frustrated. Drops it back to 18th. Meanwhile, we continue on at the front with Peyton Howell, Bladen Edwards, and now Greg Evans in the 3rd spot. John Hutchins is 4th, Riley 5th, and Kendall Paul, Sam Crow. Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, has moved into the 8th spot, and David Dunwoody makes a big move to the inside of Crash Neon. He's all the way down on the apron at the entrance to turn 2. He's thrown his car up into the 9th spot.
Yeah, David Dunwoody. Is he still on that first set of tires there, Murph? If he is, that's quite impressive to make the tires last as long and still be competitive.
With incidents and caution flags, he has not stopped in 65 laps now. And so if he did change him, he changed him midway through stage number 1. He did not stop at the break. David Dunwoody is hanging tough. He's in 10th, and he is working over Crash Neon for the 9th spot, but he's got Rick D. Fallis bidding for the 10th spot behind him. And Rick D. stopped with everybody else at the last stage break. So the tires are fresher on the Fallis machine. They got Dylan Blankenship, and Blankenship's been in the top 5 in this race too. Dunwoody, though, aggressively cutting the course, slides up in front of Fallis. Now Dunwoody to the high side in 1 and 2. And he's able to hold Rick D. off with that outside line, Caleb.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, how that high side line, how the banky just kind of works around here. It's steeper in 3 and 4 than it is in 1 and 2, but you're just able, with how wide these corners are, you're just able to sail around the outside and just carry so much momentum into these straightaways to where the outside line is almost preferred in many situations. And you see David Dunwoody, even with those very, very worn tires, is still able to just keep in front of Rick Fallis.
He is indeed, and that's allowed Blankenship to pull in behind Rick D. Meanwhile, a little bit further toward the front, Hutchins, Lean, Paul, and Crow. This is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. They are doing battle for positions 4 through 7th, and they've got Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, lurking behind them. The front 3 really are not in dispute here, Caleb. Bladen Edwards, Greg Evans, John Hutchins are all just about equidistant, 0.6 to a second apart. Hutchins is the one with company, and they spread out. Look at that, 3 different lines through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, just the many different lines. We kind of talked about that diamond shape you take sometimes with these corners, turning in early, getting out wide through the middle, and then coming back down for a really good run on exit. And you kind of see that with many different lines here. And yellow flag is out, and that's going to end the stage here.
That is going to end the stage. Peyton Howell is the stage winner. Bladen Edwards is 2nd. Greg Evans is going to come home in 3rd. The second stage break is brought to you by Blackmagic Studios. They're a small operation dedicated to high-quality iRacing paints and wraps for any car, and they will paint anything. I can vouch for that. Visit them on Discord or Facebook for your next high-quality iRacing wrap or paint. That's Blackmagic Studios. I can vouch for the quality of those paints because I run one. So Blackmagic Studios it is for all of your painting needs. David Dunwoody, the head of that he is the small operation, and there is the paint. It's an eye-catching car, Caleb. White, got the purple chrome, the 28, the Tweety Bird. It's a good-looking hot rod for David Dunwoody, and he's going to pull it down pit road along with everybody else. He went 74 laps on that set of tires, Caleb?
Yeah, everybody coming down pit lane except for a couple cars towards the back there. But Peyton Howell leads them off pit lane. He's led the majority, actually every lap of this race so far. We'll see if anything gets cycled up in this pit sequence. Peyton Howell in that first box there. Going to take all 4 tires here. And Sunoco fuel. And
we'll re-rack them. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be involved in all of our iRacing action. It is week 13 next week, so you're not going to see as many races on the channel. No officials, of course, Monday or Tuesday. We are going to have the votive IndyCar Series race from Milwaukee. That's going to go at 8 o'clock Sunday. Also, the Horizon IndyCar Series is going to go as normal on Wednesday night at 8. And lastly, we are going to be right back here, 8 o'clock, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 race start for the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. Next week, we are... And I forgot already, Caleb. I really should probably know where we're at next week, shouldn't I? Next week, we are at Las Vegas. So, as Gary Godso calls it, lost wages. Next Thursday, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. The trucks are off next week as well. Again, do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1. I think you're right. Peyton Howell did repair some damage. He was on pit lane 30 seconds. That'll drop him to 15th. New leader, Greg Evans.
somebody other than Peyton Howell has actually led a race lap here, Murph, and that's going to be Greg Evans. He's going to be the only first driver that is not Peyton Howell, leading them to green here for the start of stage number 3. Green flag flies, and Greg Evans gets a great jump over the rest of the field here.
He does indeed. We're going to put you in Mike Rigney's seat. This is up in a luxury box at Phoenix. This would be where what you would see if you were in one of the boxes as the field works around. And we've got car around. Caution on the speedway. Dylan Blankenship has gone around, and Eric Corder is the car you see up against the fence. Eric Corder has brought out the caution. Ryan O'Donoghue has the black flag. Dylan Blankenship has the meatball. Caution is out, and here you go. What has befallen Eric Corder? Corder in the 79. He's 3 wide. There goes Peyton Howell. The 20 of Luke Reed is his outside. He gets a little bit loose. And there's the 27 to meet him. That's Bladen Edwards, who had been running up front. Hard contact with the 60 of Lee Campbell, and then Blankenship just with nowhere to go. You see the 99 machine of Joshua Siegfried. He just pulls his car to a stop on the speedway rather than pile into the accident. Blankenship has the meatball. He is going to come to pit lane along with others. And Ryan O'Donoghue has the black flag. And I kind of am interested to see what they could be black flagging O'Donoghue for. He might have, did he go to the pit lane to avoid the accident?
He got to the pit entry and then bailed out to avoid the incident. So that's probably what the black flag is for.
Okay. So O'Donoghue, they'll most likely clear that. He's coming to pit lane anyway. He's got damage on the nose of that machine. So O'Donoghue is coming to pit road anyhow. Greg Evans is your leader. Riley Lean second. John Hutchins third as we work the admin box caution here in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. Do want to thank Outland Custom Arms. Their mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms. Rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy, every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That's Outland Custom Arms. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can get in on all of our iRacing broadcasts. It is Mark Murphy, Caleb Brashear, and we are just about, Caleb, to get to halfway here in the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series from Phoenix.
Yeah, we're just under halfway, 200 lap race here, 200 miles out here in the desert. And we said a fuel stint here, and this is very interesting. This is the first time we have a bit of strategy playing into this race here, as they can't quite make it on fuel with the amount of laps left. However, we did see a number of cars not only get some damage repaired, but also top up on fuel. They'll go a little bit longer, only about 7 laps worth longer on fuel. So they possibly want to pit a little bit later and have those fresh tires right at the end of the race and be very, very quick at the end.
Yes, indeed, Caleb. Greg Evans is your leader, and he is going to lead Riley Lean, John Hutchins, and Kendall Paul back to the green flag. Barney throws it. The Cactus lights up green. One more time we go, and they are all over the inside apron there as we bring it back to green. John Hutchins is looking under Riley Lean. Hutchins looking strong. He won second, and Kendall Paul has moved back to the front of this field. He goes by Sam Crow. Kendall Paul is fourth, Crow fifth, and looking to the outside of Sam Crow is Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. Sam Crow loose, Osterman gets by.
Sam Crow, an incredible save there coming off turn 4, able to gather it up. He falls a couple positions, but
battle for the lead. Greg Evans is under fire from Riley Lean. John Hutchins has stuck his nose into that fight. So too is Kendall Paul. And here comes Osterman to the inside. Sorry, Caleb.
On the inside. All good. We always enjoy a good battle for the lead, but Justin Osterman climbing through the field. He has the most passes here in a race. He has the record here. It looks like he's trying to set that record again. I don't think he could quite get it, but he finds himself in that 5th place spot. And look who's right behind him. Look. That is Peyton Howe. Peyton Howe had a bit of damage, and now he's climbing his way back up towards the lead. Sam Crow gets into the wall off turn 4.
He did indeed. We stay with the battle at the front because Peyton Howe is coming. He has made it to 6th, and this is going to be interesting because he's now reached the pointy end of the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series field. He looks to the inside of Justin Osterman, and I can vouch for this, Caleb. Justin Osterman is not a man that enjoys being passed. Peyton, he's going to put up a fight. Howe to the inside. Osterman trying to fight back to the outside. The outside is almost the preferred line, though, through turns 1 and 2. Caleb, Osterman will draw back even. He'll have the momentum. He'll slingshot past. Can Hal make the move through 3 and 4? He can. And now he'll set his sights on Kendall Paul. Meanwhile, Greg Evans has about a 0.3 of a second lead at the front. The front 3 have stabilized. The action is around the 52 of Peyton Howe.
Yeah, Peyton Howe finds himself back inside the top 5. He led basically the entire race, but got a bit of damage. I think he just zoned out under one of the cautions and hit the outside wall. Got that damage repaired, and now he looks to take that 4th place spot from Kendall Paul. Peyton Howe is on a charge here, Murph.
He is, and you would have expected that just by having watched the initial stages of this race. Peyton Howe let it will stages 1 and 2. He got some damage under caution. Pitted, fixed that damage, went to the back, and he has come back to the front. Not the same amount of luck for Bladen Edwards, who was involved in another incident. Bladen Edwards is 10th. Peyton Howe, though, working over John Hutchins. He flares that car all the way up to the fence, Caleb, trying to get the run down the hill through 1 and 2 and down the back.
Yeah, you see him going through the field now, but these next three drivers aren't going to let up so easily. You see Payton Howell just take that really sharp line through 3 and 4. I've noticed he's been taking that a lot sharper than the drivers around him, including John Hutchins, who has kind of taken the high line. He's going to take a wide entry going into 1 and 2. They go side by side through the middle of the corner, but John Hutchins able to get that outside line to pull away onto the back straightaway. He's going to hold up Payton Howell as long as he can, because he knows once Payton Howell gets to the front of the field, he's going to be gone.
Yes, indeed. And look, these cars, it gets harder to pass cars the further toward the front of the field you move. Payton Howell, he got to where he is fairly easily. It is going to be much harder to get past Hutchins, Lean, and Evans because they are, they may not be as fast as Howell, but the difference, the split is much, much smaller. Howell still working over Hutchins, hard to the inside. He cuts the corner. He gets the fender, but Payton Howell can't quite. Now he does. Pulls it alongside John Hutchins, but Hutchins fights back effectively on the outside, Caleb.
Yeah, he gets that outside line, but Payton Howell getting a really good exit on the corner. He's going to send it up the inside, going to turn number 3. Gets a little bit loose on entry, has that bottom line, and he's able to clear John Hutchins. And now Payton Howell finds himself back inside the top 3, and now he's hunting Riley Lean for second.
He is indeed. So Payton Howell, who led nearly the entire stage 1 and the entirety of stage 1, led the entirety of stage 2. Had some damage repaired, dropped back to 15th, and he is currently in the 3rd spot looking at second. Do have bad news for you, Shelby. Troy involved in an accident earlier. He is out of the event, will be credited with 29th spot. Hard on the wall for Payton Howell. He spins the inside. Contact. Payton Howell, hard in the wall. Caution.
His engine is done. Payton Howell is out of this race.
That almost looked like a mechanical failure. Watch here for Payton Howell. He's going to come off. He's there. He is through the dog leg. He's following behind Riley Lean, and that car just went straight into the wall. I wonder if that's a situation where his wheels shut off. We're going to see
I'm looking at the cockpit cam. He's still turning the wheel. It just went straight.
He had some damage earlier. Maybe he didn't get all that damage fixed, and it blew a right front. Now, the tires don't blow in iRacing. Payton Howell sits on pit lane. Greg Evans, your leader. The tires do not blow in iRacing, as we're going to see a split pit strategy here. Riley Lean down pit road. Greg Evans, among others, staying out, and we'll chronicle that. But what happens is if you've got, let's say you've got suspension damage, it knocks the toe out of the car. If you don't fix it all the way, Caleb, there is potential for for it to wear one of the edges. There is potential for it to wear one of the edges of the tires, and it'll wear it down to 0. When you wear a tire in iRacing down to 0, you simply lose all the grip, right? The car won't turn. And that's almost looks like what happened to Payton Howell, doesn't it?
It does indeed. However, one thing that looks weird with it is that it stopped turning the second he came back onto the actual racing surface and not the apron. So it almost looked like it with the i8 or the IndyCar or in the IR1 in this case, where sometimes when you come back onto the apron, the car just loses suspension and you break something. It almost looked like that. I'm not saying it wasn't a 0% tire wear, but that's almost what it looked like, Jeremy.
And that could be two. Do want to kind of set the stage for you with pit stops. The front 10 did not stop. Riley Lean in 11th was the first taker for tires. And I tell you what, this is going to get interesting because we know David Dunwoody has an extra set. Meanwhile, the front guys are gambling on another caution. The cars behind them from 10th on back, they should, or 11th on back rather, they should be able to make this now nonstop, but they're going to be hurting for speed if they have to go 85, 86 laps on a run. Greg Evans is going to lead him back to the green flag. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, but here we go. 86 laps to decide it here at Phoenix. The Cactus 200 in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series is on.
Yeah, Greg Evans gets a really good jump, and that allows Kendall Paul look the inside of John Hutchins. They go side by side through 1 and 2. Kendall Paul has had a bit of a mixed race here. He finds himself back up at the front, though, and he's able to get that second place spot coming off turn number 2.
He is indeed. We're following the cars with tires, and there is action all over this course. Riley Lean all the way down the pit road. Hard accident behind.
Oh, that is a big, big hit, Murph.
I saw a car go clear up almost to the grandstands, and I don't see who it is, but it was a massive impact.
Keith Graham.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was an orange car, and I couldn't tell if it was the 13 or the 09. But there's the accident. The catch fence keeps the 09 in the ballpark. The 21 of Sergio Abella also involved. Keith Graham takes a wild ride, and here we're going to kind of go to the blimp and see it. The cars back here are all racing for position. Some have tires, some do not. Some have tires, some do not. And watch this. It's just going to be Abella coming down, and Keith Graham was there. There's the right hook and hard contact for both of those machines. We do have word, by the way, from Peyton Howell. It was a wheel disconnect for Peyton Howell, and it caused the brakes to lock. So that's the reason it caused the brakes to spike, and that's the reason he went in the wall, Caleb.
Yeah, just an unfortunate situation, especially with a hardware failure. Kind of replaces, random mechanical failures that you see on iRacing. iRacing takes consideration of PC and other hardware failures in your sim rig, so they don't have mechanical failures in the sim. But it's still something that can happen, and it's just absolutely unfortunate, especially considering that he led basically the entirety of this race up until the end of stage number 2.
Yes, he did. Ryan O'Donohue is going to come past. He will get the lucky dog, and that's going to put O'Donohue back on the lead lap, Caleb. And so Ryan O'Donohue is back on the leader lap. He has been repairing damage basically under every caution. 46 seconds that last time through. And remember, it was O'Donohue who took the ride earlier, smacked the wall at pit exit while he was battling for the third spot. And so O'Donohue, we know he's fast. How much of that car has he gotten repaired? You can kind of see it in the background. Still, the front end is wrinkled on that machine. He's going to need some more yellow to get it fixed all the way, but he's going to keep chipping away at it, and he's back on the lead lap in the 20th spot, Caleb.
Yes, he is. Pace car is in off turn 2. Glenda Paul and Greg Evans are your front row. They're on the back straightaway now. They're going to lead the field back to green. Greg Evans on the inside. as kind of ever since Peyton Howell had his initial incident with the wall under caution, he has kind of led the rest of this race here, and he's going to lead them to the green flag.
Green flag.
And green flag flies back here at Phoenix.
Greg Evans streaks away. The battle is behind him. My goodness sakes, they are 3 wide with Blade and Edwards all in the middle, and hard contact, Sam Crow in the wall.
Sam Crow and John Hutchins, and we got more contact in the back in turn number 3.
Sam Crow, the hood is flown up on that car. Sam Crow cannot see where he's going. There's his Caleb, that's no good. There's the view from Sam Crow, and we need to figure out what is transpired to put him in that spot. He's on the bottom. Blade and Edwards in the middle. John Hutchins on the top. Contact from Edwards to Hutchins. Hutchins into Crow. Hard contact into the wall. Hutchins is going to save that. And Crow doesn't know where he's going. He can't see anything. Blade and Edwards, further up the road, has contact with the 19 of... he has contact with the 19. That is Julian Valadez. And watch here. I think that this is an unrelated thing, and I think it's because Valadez, you see him in the background, he's blinking.
Yeah, Valadez was blinking the majority of that back straightaway, so it might have been a situation to where he just outright wasn't seen and just went to the bottom and just unfortunately caused a separate incident with apart from Sam Crow's. But under caution here, Murph, we see our leaders, Clendell Paul and Greg Evans, both came to pit lane and decided to take their 4-tire stop. That Greg Evans relinquishes the lead under caution. He will have slightly fresher tires than the rest of the field here. And that's going to play a factor because this field is fairly thin ever since the start of this stage here, Murph.
Is indeed, and you got to remember, we're watching on board Chad Meadows, the accident, and we're going to watch the whole thing through because this is going to be interesting. He avoids the first one. You can see the blinking from Valadez. There's the contact with Hutchins, which is basically netcode, and Chad Meadows might be the luckiest man in virtual Phoenix tonight because he dodged 3 accidents, all of which occurred right around him. But you're right. Look, we've had some attrition in NASCAR rules. The lead lap cars go in front of the lap machines, and so why not? Why not come and grab tires and fuel now? You don't lose near as much track position. Blade and Edwards, Peyton Howell, the cars that were dominant earlier, they're in the back. They're out of the race. Blade and Edwards is now retired. Why not, right? Green flag is going to come back out. Riley Lean, Justin Ostrom in the front row. Chad Meadows and Say Hey Lewis Hayes, the second row. And there comes Andy Dunwoody. David Dunwoody is going to the bottom. He restarted 5th. He might be second by the time we get to turn 3 here. Dunwoody all the way down to the apron.
Really far down on the apron, but that's going to allow a
slide job. Did he get it?
Oh, yes, he did, but he's got the inside still there. And he's going to get that outside line to get a good run off the corner. David Dunwoody's in second place here, Murph.
What a move from David Dunwoody. He drives around everybody on the apron from 5th to 2nd, and then he throws the slider on Justin Osterman. Osterman has to check up, and Dunwoody is now pulling away from Osterman. And how about Say Hey Lewis Hayes? Meadows in the wall, but Say Hey Lewis Hayes, he's pulled into 4th. And Lee Campbell, that car was junked earlier, the plain white wrapper. He's moved it back into 5th.
The yellow flag is out.
And caution's back out.
Caution is back on the Phoenix Raceway. Try to see who this is.
Looks like Luke Reed got tangled up with John Hutchins coming across the start-finish line.
Here we go. There's Luke Reed and John Hutchins. Two cars trying to fit into space made two bumpers trying to fit into the space made for one, Caleb. And Luke Reed will take a lazy spin down the apron. He doesn't hit anything, but he is going to be the cause, or not the cause of, but he will be the reason that we once again see the admin box caution flag fly with 127 laps, or 126 down, working 127 of 200 here at the Phoenix Raceway. Do thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can get in on all of the iRacing broadcasts. We also want to thank Outland Custom Arms. Their mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That's Outland Custom Arms. And once again, Caleb, the pit strategy is going to split.
Yes, it is indeed. I believe it seemed like under the last caution that seemed to be everybody. I guess I misunderstood, but Chad Meadow, it seems like a lot of the field came down to get damage repaired. Actually, the majority of the field. I bet most of these drivers have taken a set of tires in this third stage so far.
Yes, and so what you're looking for when you're looking for damage repair is this, Caleb. How long was the pit stop? We can tell that, right? It usually a regular pit stop time in the box is about 15 seconds. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes, his last stop was 15 laps ago. He was in the box for 40 seconds. Lee Campbell, 53 seconds. Brian Sharp, he's in 10th. His last stop, 29 seconds. Rick Fallis, 20 seconds. Ryan O'Donohue, 35 seconds. Those are cars that are repairing damage to try to keep going and give themselves a chance at making a charge toward the front here at Phoenix. They're not necessarily getting tires, but what they're doing is they're trying to get their car back aerodynamically, as well as mechanically, the mechanical grip piece, to make a run for the flag here, Caleb.
Yes, he is. Pace car is in. Riley Lean is going to lead them back to green here. He's got David Dunwoody on his outside as they go onto the back stretch here. And this is going to be a very interesting restart because they still got 70 laps to go. And yet they pretty much have their pit stop done, so they got to make these tires last.
Yeah, everybody in the field has made their stop, so they're gonna have to let it ride with what they got. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes or Justin Osterman may be the only one that hasn't stopped yet. He is currently second. He's been out 37 laps. Back through Crash Neon, they stopped under the last yellow. From Kendale Paul on back. Whoa, and cars around. Mike Rigney. Mike Rigney is in the wall. And there's Mike. He went around coming off of turn number 2. And he will bring out, he'll have his turn at bringing out the admin box caution, and we'll watch the replay for Mike Rigney.
Quick note, David Dunwoody and Justin Osterman are both in pit lane right now, so they're going to make their final stop now.
They are indeed. It looks to me like Mike Rigney just kind of had the old back end slide around and swap ends with him coming off turn number 2. And he is that's the reason he went around and brought out the caution. He's also got a meatball. David Dunwoody is on the pit lane. He did take tires. So Dunwoody takes his final set. So too, Justin Osterman. So they're going to have the freshest tires out here. Riley Lean is your leader from Lee Campbell. Lee Campbell is an interesting story here, Caleb. He's been as low as 29th. That car was hard in the wall with massive front end damage. Earlier in the event, he's driven all the way back to second.
Yeah, it's been a common trend so far in the AMA, both Grand National and Truck Series. We've seen cars or trucks multiple laps down, and all of a sudden you find themselves fighting for the lead at the end of the race. That's what we've seen with Lee Campbell. I believe he was a lap down at one point, and now he's in second, and he's going to lead this field back to green on that outside there. And we've seen that happen multiple times. It was more prominent in the Daytona and Atlanta races, cars being multiple laps down. You rarely ever see it on a short track, but absolutely incredible comeback for Lee Campbell here.
It has been cars to watch other than Campbell and Riley Lean. How about say hey Lewis Hayes? He is third, honoring his father-in-law Robert Turnbull tonight. The Grease Monkey on the side of that machine. He is third. You've got Ryan O'Donoghue back up to 10th. He was back on pit lane repairing yet more damage. Don't count out Ryan O'Donoghue here. Barney is going to put the green flag back in the air, Caleb, and we are going to jump into the grandstand. Do want to thank our friends at Whiplash SimCams. If you buy a ticket at Phoenix, this is what you see. Enjoy the sights and sounds of the Phoenix Raceway.
Ooh, I believe that's David Dunwoody got loose off too. He's able to gather it back up. One thing that's you need to know is that these new tires, when they are cold, are very, very loose. So they get very, very tricky for the first couple laps. You saw David Dunwoody get very, very loose there on corner exit. And we see a large shuffle at the front of the field. Crash Neon has found himself in third. St. Louis Hayes is in second. And meanwhile, right behind him, Greg Evans back up to the front of the field. He pitted earlier on, and now he's fighting for the third place spot here, Murph.
Freshest tires in the front of that in that front group belong to Greg Evans. He stopped 14 laps ago, Neon 18. Lewis Hayes and Riley Lean both have 23 laps on their current set. And David Dunwoody wanted to know in the chat how he wasn't wrecked. Well, he gave it a good shot. He went around the apron and got way loose going through turns 1 and 2. Just about collected the pit attenuator. He kept it going in the right direction, but he is 14th. Meanwhile, Crash Neon say, hey, Lewis Hayes, they're having a battle for third as Greg Evans has moved into second.
Yeah, Greg Evans pretty much has been, ever since the start of stage number 3, pretty much been the fastest car on track ever since Peyton Howe DNF'd earlier in the race. He's been the fastest car here at Phoenix, and he sets his sight on forward. He's kind of left the group behind, but now he has to catch Riley Lean, who has also been very, very dominant here today.
I was just about to say, look who showed up in 5th place. It's Ryan O'Donoghue. He hit the apron in the wrong spot, just about turned that number 14 Chevrolet loose. He's got the nose fixed. He's got the aerodynamics looking good. Ryan O'Donoghue's got 20 laps on his current set of tires, and he's moved it up into the 5th spot. Meanwhile, say, hey, Lewis Hayes gets into the back of Crash Neon. He has to go high, loses his momentum. By goes O'Donoghue, Kendall Paul, and Andrew Jones. Now Lee Campbell wants a piece of that. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes loses 4 spots in one corner, and O'Donoghue is going to get by Crash Neon. He'll go to third.
Yeah, O'Donoghue, again, another driver we saw very, very good early in the race. But unfortunately, he's been struggling to repair that damage the entire race. He now finds himself at third. Now he has to close that gap down. It was just over a second to Greg Evans in front. He's got plenty of time to do it. Just over 60 laps remain in this race for him to catch. And if that damage is repaired, we know he's got a fast car here, Murph.
We know he does. Ryan O'Donohue has been as many as 2 laps down. He's gotten the lucky dogs. He's fought his way back onto the lead lap. He's repaired the nose of that Chevrolet. At one point, it looked like it had hit one of those parking bollards at the shopping mall. Had a big bow in the front of it. The crew has fixed that. The virtual crew has fixed Ryan O'Donohue, and he is back up at the front of this field in the 3rd spot. It is worth noting that we have Sebastian Rodriguez fans in the chat. He had some earlier contact. Sebastian is 15 laps down in the 20th spot, but there he is running along, trying to complete as many as possible. Meanwhile, say hey Lewis Hayes, all kinds of problems. He's got 29 laps on his tires. He is now back to the 10th spot. David Dunwoody has moved around him in the 9th, and Lewis Hayes is going to be next up on the hit parade for Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. And it's important to note, Dunwoody and Osterman, excuse me, my goodness, as you see Dunwoody go all the way to the bottom, Dunwoody and Osterman have the freshest tires on the circuit. Dunwoody and Osterman, 11 laps on their current run. Lee Campbell, Riley Lean as many as 30. You've got Greg Evans and Kendall Paul, 21 laps. Ryan O'Donohue, 15 laps. But Dunwoody and Osterman, Lewis Hayes also 30 laps. Dunwoody and Osterman, the freshest tires, and they're starting to come forward, Caleb.
Yeah, you see everybody else have their tires wear around them. That's where the strategy prevailed. You saw David Dunwoody make a completely different strategy call than the rest of the field. And it looks like he is climbing back his way towards the front. We'll see if it works out for him, but he's got about 56 laps to try and get back to the lead here, Murph.
He does indeed. We're 145. We're working lap 145 of 200 at Phoenix. Dunwoody all the way down to the apron again. He's going to get past Lee Campbell. Well, almost. He doesn't quite clear him, so Campbell is going to come back with the momentum on the outside. Dunwoody, though, with the nose going into turns 3 and 4, that should put him next to Andrew Jones. I bet you $1 he cuts the dog leg here. And he does into the pit lane exit.
almost getting to the wall there, but he went really, really low there.
He did, but look how much more maneuverability he has over Crash Neon. Neon with twice as many laps on his tires, 28 versus 14, and Dunwoody passes Crash Neon with ease, move him back into the 5th spot. So David Dunwoody is now going to set sights on Kendall Paul. He was 2/10 of a second quicker on that last lap, but he's got a second and a half to go to Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul has 1.6 seconds to Ryan O'Donohue. Ryan O'Donohue, meanwhile, he's got the freshest tires in the front 3, and he is looking hard at teammate Greg Evans and ultimately Riley Lean for the lead here.
Yeah, I've been eyeing this battle. It's been really, really close, but Riley has kind of pulled away slightly from Greg Evans. Greg had a couple shots to get around Riley for the lead a couple laps ago, but now he's kind of having to hold off Ryan O'Donohue on fresher tires. We'll see how he's able to manage this as he sends it really deep going into 3 and 4 and back onto the start-finish straight.
He does, and I think this is kind of one of those deals, Caleb, where the fastest car in the line is the last car in line. I think Greg Evans is probably a little bit faster than Riley Lean, and Riley Lean's just trying to hold on, knowing he's got 2 faster cars behind him. This is going to be an interesting battle. Kendall Paul has kind of sealed himself up in that 4th spot. He is all alone. He'll look back at David Dunwoody. There's Dunwoody, and Dunwoody has pulled away from the battle for 6th which is Justin Osterman, Andrew Jones, John Hutchins, and others. Osterman will get through. That'll leave Hutchins and Jones to battle over 7th spot. Back to the fight for the lead.
And one thing to also note is David Dunway is about 2/10 faster than Glendale Paul at the moment, obviously having the freshest tires in the field. But he's he's about matching the leader's lap times here. And meanwhile, as I say, that Glendale Paul goes faster than the rest of them. So a bit of a mix-up we're seeing here, Murph.
We are, and that could just be, Kendall Paul is by himself. He's hitting his marks. Riley Lean has the deuce of Greg Evans and the Sim Magic machine all over his back door. Greg Evans being pushed by Ryan O'Donoghue, and Kendall Paul's just kind of in a zone where he can set his own pace. He can run to the beat of his own drum. He's not got to worry about pressure. Dunwoody was 2/10 slower than Paul the last time through, and so maybe David Dunwoody's using up the good on the good years, trying to catch Kendall Paul. And hey, you can do that too. You can get them hot. They don't grip as much. I think before all this is over, though, with the tire differential between Riley Lean and Ryan O'Donoghue, that something is going to have to give. And Riley Lean's got lap traffic in front of him. That's going to be the 99 of Joshua Siegfried. And so we'll see if lap traffic plays a part in this battle. On these 1 mile ovals, Ryan, it almost always does.
Yeah, it does. And we talked about it, we really haven't, I guess I should say, we really haven't seen it, proper lap traffic in this race so far. We've had a number of cautions where we haven't really seen lap traffic due to pace early in this race to where it's affected, the leaders. This is really the first time. It looks like Joshua Siegfried is going to get out of the way. Good on him. He's going to allow the top three to battle on their own. And the top three go by, but that's still something to consider, is you got to get through lap traffic and you got to get through clean.
You do, and Ryan O'Donoghue is going to cleanly move to the bottom of Greg Evans. Evans was on the top. He gets the slingshot effect from the cushion there. He'll drive back by O'Donoghue going down the front straightaway. Evans trying to mount his own run against leader Riley Lean, and Evans has to be in that Discord channel saying, "Hey, let me go. I'm trying to pass the leader, right?" Siegfried is going to be caught by Kendall Paul in the background, and Evans is really working that high side now, trying to get the run on Riley Lean so that he can poke the nose to the bottom going into turns 3 and 4. He didn't quite get there that time, but he gets closer every time he does it.
Yeah, this is the closest he's ever had. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Donoghue gets a really, really high line going through turns 3 and 4. Didn't get quite the good enough exit. That's going to allow the top two just to pull away ever so slightly, and they have a lap car to the outside. That's going to actually harm Greg Evans. He's been liking that outside line through 1 and 2 for the last 10 laps or so. That's not going to. Greg Evans didn't like that at all, and he drops back about 2 to 3 or about 1 to 2 car lengths here.
He did, and look, that was Eric Corder. Eric Corder did absolutely nothing wrong. He pulled out of the groove. He held his line. He was predictable, but that just happened to be where Greg Evans, and he goes back up there again. That happened to be where Greg Evans was going to build the run on Riley Lean, and it cost him a couple of car lengths. This time he goes to the high side and pulls back in maybe 3 or 4 feet, but it's almost like it's a pendulum, Caleb, and it got going the wrong way for Greg Evans, and now he's gonna have to build that run. Meanwhile, he's not able to get the exit that he wants because Ryan O'Donoghue's running the bottom and he's right behind him.
Yeah, that's just so frustrating. You're trying to gain on the leader in front, but meanwhile you also have to defend from the car behind. Ryan O'Donoghue sends it really, really deep. He might have a run here going into turn number 1. They go through the kink. Now Ryan O'Donoghue, he's going to hold that inside there. Drops back about 1 to 2 car lengths. Greg Evans gains a little bit over Ryan O'Donoghue, and he's going to get a good run going on to the back straightaway.
I don't think it's a matter of of Ryan O'Donoghue necessarily trying to pass Greg Evans. I don't think that is the goal. It's just Ryan O'Donoghue is running his line. Greg Evans is running his, and it's just a fact. It's just a fact of the matter. It's the nature of the beast. Whatever you want to say, whatever your cliche is, that when you run that way, the two lines are going to intersect at corner exit, and it's going to slow both of you down, Caleb, and that's what's happened to Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue. Evans really just needs O'Donoghue to back up and say, look, go get your man. If you can't do that, let me go, and I'll go get him.
It looks like Greg Evans is allowed that. Ryan O'Donoghue has kind of backed off a little bit, and now Greg Evans is going to get a run, but they still have to deal with lap traffic. That was the number one car of Ted Craven. He got really out of the way, but they still got a couple of cars in front. Brian Sharp looks like he's going to get out of the way going through the kink, or maybe not.
No, Brian Sharp stays out. Now he runs his car to the outside, the 125 admin box machine. Sharp runs along in 16th spot. He is several laps down. Take it back. He is one lap down now, and he is in the lucky dog spot. Randy Dunlap would be the next car up the road, and Dunlap is running in the 15th position. So they've now lapped everybody up through 16th. But Riley Lean has proven that he can hold off the charge from Greg Evans, even though Evans is on 9-lap fresher tires. O'Donoghue 6 laps fresher than Evans. At what point, if you're Evans, do you say, look, Ryan O'Donoghue's my teammate, he might be a little bit faster, maybe I ought to let him have a crack at it? Or is this a situation, if you're O'Donoghue, you let Evans have his shot first?
Well, you've seen Greg Evans. He's had shots. It's not like he's dropped off massively in pace and he's holding Ryan O'Donoghue to where they're both losing time to Riley Lean. Greg Evans has been on Riley Lean's bumper the entire time as he dropped back 1 to 2 car lengths there. They got a lap car in front again. But it's starting to get to a point where you get later and later in stint, and the more you hold up Ryan O'Donoghue, the more Ryan's going to wear his tires out unless he's been purposely saving them for a late run or late race push. But right now, if Ryan O'Donoghue has been pushing and he's not been able to get around, that's going to just wear Ryan's tires more, and that's going to possibly cost them both the lead of this race.
Well, we know that Greg Evans is wearing his tires. He had the deuce completely sideways coming off of turn number 2 a lap ago, and that's dropped him one more time, about 3 to 5 car lengths behind Riley Lean. The pendulum starts again, and Ryan O'Donoghue drives to the bottom one more time on Greg Evans, trying to snatch that second spot. He thinks better of it and falls back in line. Evans is trying to rebuild the run, see if he can't get to Riley Lean, and see if he can't make the pass for the lead. It's like every time he gets close, there's a lap car, he gets sideways, he loses momentum. And now Ryan O'Donoghue is going to make the pass, and that was almost looked like it was a planned deal. Greg Evans said, look, I may have used up my stuff. Ryan, you go ahead and give it a shot.
Yeah, Ryan only on a few lap pressure tires, but that could make a difference. But at this point, this late into the stint, all the tires just kind of equal in pace. You even see, even a little bit further back, David Dunwoody, he's on the freshest tires of the entire field, and he's currently lapping the same time as our leader. So it goes to prove the later and later you get into the stint, the tires just kind of equal out with each other the later you go. And right now, that gap between first and second has kind of stagnated here, Murph.
It has kind of equalized a little bit. The tires may have equalized for Evans, but remember O'Donoghue 6 laps less. His may not have equalized, and so it's O'Donoghue that's going to take up the chase on Riley Lean. Evans falls back a little bit into third. Kendall Paul has dropped another second, just for those wondering. He is now 2.3 seconds behind the front 3. David Dunwoody is stable in 5th. It's 1.6 seconds ahead to Kendall Paul in fourth, and it's 3 seconds and change back to Justin Osterman in sixth. So Dunwoody firmly ensconced in the fifth spot. But the battle is at the front, and I think we're going to see a charge here from Ryan O'Donoghue before it's all over with.
Yeah, he's gained a little bit of ground here. It's still about that 1 to 2 car lengths, but he's gained good runs off the exit too. That's really allowed him to gain a lot of time. And as we see Riley Lean get a little bit into that apron there, that made the car slide up just a little bit, and that allowed Ryan O'Donoghue just to edge a little bit closer in the closing portion of this race.
It does. We are watching the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. At Outland Custom Arms, our mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. And we are just about time to start talking turkey and figure out who's going to take home the trophy and the Rogue Energy winning moment. Who's going to pull their car into victory lane, Caleb? Is it going to be Riley Lean? Is it Ryan O'Donoghue going to make the pass? Or is Greg Evans going to cool the tires off and get one more crack at it? O'Donoghue has pulled right up on the rear bumper of Riley Lean, but just as has previously happened, they're going to catch a lap car, and that's Luke Reed.
Yes, it is indeed. Luke Reed is still about half a straightaway in front of these guys, so they do have a little bit of time before they get to him, possibly 1 to 2 laps before they catch him. But Ryan O'Donoghue is closing that gap down just ever so slightly. It is about the same as it was last lap, but you just got to maintain that consistent pace, maintain a good pace, and just make sure you're doing everything right. You're not overcooking the tires. You're not sending it too hard. You just got to maintain a nice, solid pace to make sure once a slip-up happens, if it does happen, you're able to pounce on Riley.
Yeah, I mean, you have to position yourself to be there to capitalize on any mistake. And Riley Lean, so far, he's withstood the pressure from one of the best in the business, Greg Evans. Evans is bowed out. Ryan O'Donoghue has taken up the challenge. But for Riley Lean, he's got 2 lap cars up there, Joshua Siegfried and Luke Reed. Siegfried and Reed are not battling for position. O'Donoghue and Lean touched going down the front straightaway. This battle is going to get close. Now Sam Crow used to say, I hit you once, I'm here. Hit me again, you want by. Hit him the third time, I'm going by. So that's one hit for Riley Lean on Riley Lean from Ryan O'Donoghue. Both cars sliding off of turn 2. Greg Evans slaps the wall. The tires are starting to get kind of gamey on these cars as we get to 22 laps to go.
Yeah, Ryan O'Donoghue had a really good run there, but that cost him a little bit as the lap car gets slightly in front of Riley Lean. That's going to allow Ryan O'Donoghue to edge ever further. Ryan O'Donoghue holding a slightly tighter line through 1 and 2, just with that 6 lap fresher tires. He's able to do that just slightly better than our leader. But right now, we're just outside of 20 to go, and we're getting to the point where you got to pounce right now if you want to make a move, because your tires are wearing and it may be too late.
Yeah, the laps go by here at Phoenix really quick. 2 laps a minute. This race has about 10 minutes left in it. Ryan O'Donoghue needs to get going. I was going to say he didn't do it that time, but one of the things you can do here at Phoenix as the car starts to tighten up is you can kind of hit that apron in turns 1 and 2, the flat end of the speedway, and it will de-wedge the car and it'll make it turn. So Ryan O'Donoghue is, he had done that several laps in a row. He doesn't quite do it that time, but he is a good 2 feet lower on the speedway than Riley Lean, and he is trying everything he can to get past Riley Lean. Can O'Donoghue do it? We're going to come and get 19 laps to go.
Yeah, that gap it's just been kind of just stagnated. That 1 to 2 car lengths there was a bit of a shuffle earlier in the race, and then it gets really, really tight into 1 and 2. But Riley's able to get a much better run off the corner, and that's where that gap grows again back to that 1 to 2 car lengths. So it seems like Riley's just able to get better corner exits than Ryan O'Donoghue, despite Donoghue having the 6-lap fresher tires.
He does, and it poses the question, Caleb, would you rather have clean air or would you rather have fresh tires? Because Riley Lean has had the clean air for the entire run. O'Donoghue, remember, has been behind Lean and for a while was behind Greg Edwards. Would you rather have the clean air or the fresh tires? The clean air seems to have benefited Riley Lean. The tire situation seems to have equalized, and he's able to fend off the challenge from Ryan O'Donoghue despite the 15-lap differential.
Yeah, clean air is much more prevalent on what you see at the faster tracks, the 1.5 to 2 mile speedways is much more prevalent there in these big bulky stock cars than it is the short tracks. But it still does play a factor, especially considering you are absolutely destroying those tires considerably more than on those speedways. So in this situation, obviously clean air is going to be more important, especially with how close they pitted. However, with you being out in front, you could kind of just kind of sit there and just kind of hold him up and let him wear his tires out. You can set the pace of the cars behind you if you're able to do it. Ooh. Ryan O'Donoghue got very, very close to that wall here, Murph. I'd say his tires are starting to fall off.
Yeah, look, there's no more saving. Greg Evans has tapped the wall several times in the last few laps. There's no more saving. You got what you got. It's time to push 100% flat out as much as you got. You see the guys sliding the cars coming off of turns 3 and off of turn number 4. Trying to make it cut to get down through the shortcut on the apron. They're doing absolutely everything they can. Riley Lean, he's smoking the rear tires. Ryan O'Donoghue's doing the same thing. We're going to get on board for Ryan O'Donoghue, and let's have a look and a listen at what the leader is doing or what second place is doing to try to catch the leader. Do want to report that Joshua Siegfried has gone to the garage in the number 99. He'll be credited with the 22nd spot. Ted Craven should come around him. And O'Donoghue, and you heard it, he's going so hard there. It's not a hit, but it's like just a nick of the wall coming off of turn number 2.
Yeah, it looks like Riley Lean has able to pull away. I'm guessing Ryan O'Donoghue has cooked them tires here, Murph. He's got nothing left of those Goodyear rubber, and Riley Lean's now pulling away from Ryan O'Donoghue and Greg Evans.
Riley Lean is, here's the thing. O'Donoghue's now going to the top side, just as Greg Evans did, trying to get that slingshot effect on Riley Lean through turns 1 and 2. The problem is he's used up so much of his tire that he can't hold it on the bottom in turns 3 and 4. They're going to catch Mike Rigney here. Rigney is 12 laps in arrears, 18th spot. They're going to get to Rigney. He, of course, running the John Van Varellis paint scheme in honor of their late friend there at DVD Motorsports. But you're going to see O'Donoghue, he's going high, but it's not because he's trying to build a run necessarily. His tires are just worn out, Caleb.
The yellow flag is out.
And we've got a yellow. Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, has brought out the caution. Osterman around. He's with Sam Crow.
Well, that just made the race interesting here, Murph.
It did. Sam Crow on the bottom. Osterman turns in. Sam Crow is there. Around goes Mr. Excitement. Sam Crow cannot get off of him, and they continue to hit, and Sam Crow locks it down, as does Justin Osterman. They both stop backwards in the dog leg, and caution is on the speedway. This will not be a green-white checker, Caleb. This will not. Now, who's got tires? Riley Lean comes to pit lane. O'Donohue to pit lane. Greg Evans, Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody, and I think everybody was saving a set for just such an occasion.
This is going to be a barn murder. Everybody on fresh tires with probably once we restart only 6 laps to go. At that point, you know, there's a hockey term for this, Murph. It's called you drop the gloves, and that's what these drivers are going to do. It's going to be a bloodbath from here on out.
You know, it's going to be an interesting affair. I'll tell you that. We're going to keep an eye on the pit lane to see who comes out first. Final 3-minute round of a boxing match. Riley Lean is going to get out first, followed by Evans, O'Donohue, Paul Dunwoody, and Andrew Jones. There's John Hutchins. He'll come out 7th. Followed by Chad Meadows, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and Rick D. Fallis. Lee Campbell is 11th. Here comes Justin Osterman. Sam Crow is out. So, there's Crash Neon, and Crash Neon spent 24 seconds in his box. So Crash Neon under significant repair. The one car of Ted Craven will get the wave around, so he'll be able to get by. Caleb, golly, I mean, you've done all that work if you're Riley Lean, and now you get lined up, and you're going to have Greg Evans to your outside, Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody behind you, Ryan O'Donohue with the long pit stop. He's going to come out 9th.
Well, Ryan O'Donohue came out pit lane in 3rd there, and does he have a penalty here, Murph?
I don't show one, but he is dropping to the rear of the field, and so maybe there's an assigned penalty for Ryan O'Donohue that we don't know about. Of course, I do not have access to the voice chat. Ryan O'Donohue has moved to the rear of the lead lap cars. So there could have been a penalty assigned by the stewards. Riley Lean is your leader, and he will streak away to come to get 6 laps to go. Greg Evans will hold off Kendall Paul for 2nd, and to the apron we go.
Riley gets a really good jump. It seems like the leader has always gotten a good jump on these restarts.
Hard in the wall, Dunwoody.
Hard in the wall is Dunwoody, and Riley Lean is able to pull out about 2 to 3 car lengths over Greg Evans.
Well, we got trouble in the back.
Yellow flag.
Trouble in the back there, Murph.
We got trouble. Brian Sharp is around. Rick Fallows was slow. Dunwoody hits the wall, and Brian Sharp, that car just unhooked and turned into the fence. He gets clouded by John Hutchins, and around goes the admin box machine to bring out the admin box caution flag. And now, Caleb, we're going to get a green-white checker. Riley Lean with Greg Evans on the outside. He'll have Kendall Paul and Andrew Jones on row 2. Chad Meadows, David Dunwoody, row 3. And how about Say Hey Lewis Hayes? He and I believe John Hutchins. Hutchins is going to come to the pit lane, so it'll be Say Hey Lewis Hayes and Crash Neon on row 4. Justin Osterman, Lee Campbell, row number 5. The rules, by the way, for green-white checkers here in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series are the exact same as they are in the real-life series. The green will fly. They get back to the white flag. The next flag will end the race. For all intents and purposes, in iRacing, they will not throw the caution on the last lap, so on the white flag lap in a NASCAR event. And so once they get the white flag, we will race back to get the checkers, and the event will be complete. Should the caution fly? Well, before we get back to the white flag, well, we'll set them up and do it all again, unless the league administration has instituted a custom rule, and Caleb can look that up. I cannot, but unless the league administration has instituted a rule that limits the number of green-white checker finishes in iRacing, you can limit that to one. You can make that choice between 1, 3, and unlimited. In the past, the AMA has done all three of those options, and so I don't necessarily know which one it is, but Caleb, if you could kindly check that out, that would be terrific. It would be under the rules tab in the session. But we're getting ready to go for a green-white checker here at Phoenix. Lean, Evans, Paul, Jones, and Meadows are your top 5. David Dunwoody is going to be the outside of row 3. Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Crash Neon, Justin Osterman, Lee Campbell are the remainder of your top 10. Ryan O'Donohue is 11th, and this is going to be fun, Caleb. 2 miles to decide it.
Yeah, I checked up the rule. It says 15 green-white checkers are allowed.
Aha. So Kendall Paul has decided to go with a custom amount, 15 green-white checkers. So there you go. Riley Lean is going to bring him to the green flag. Barney, the flagman for iRacing, has it in the air. Who is going to take home the Rogue Energy winning moment and the flag here at Phoenix? Green flag is out. Everybody goes, well, wherever they can fit.
Greg Evans looking up the inside of Riley Lean. This is the opportunity he's been needing. Riley Lean gets a really good run off the corner. On to the next year. We have a spin here, Murph.
Yellow, Ryan O'Donohue, Justin Osterman are around in the back. Greg Evans did not complete the pass. Caution is on the speedway, and let's go back and see what's happened here. O'Donohue underneath Justin Osterman. They're 3 wide. Crash Neon on top. Say Hey Lewis Hayes, David Dunwoody in front of him. I don't see how O'Donohue can get much further left, and well, Osterman's trying to make the corner because he's got Crash Neon out there. The two of them meet. Osterman tries to save it. Can't quite get that done. Around he goes. O'Donohue avoids the pit attenuator. He avoids the damage to the nose and gets spun around by Osterman. Sam Crow. He'll avoid the spinning machinery. John Hutchins with the black flag. And we get to try all that one more time, Caleb. 14 more attempts, Caleb Brashear. 14 more attempts.
Actually, it's 15 because that last one was actually a natural green-white checker. That was actually still within the normal race distance. So this is actually our first green-white checker, technically.
You are full of the best news ever. So, we're going to re-rack them and try them one more time. Brian Sharp, incidentally, got the meatball, and he's been respecting that for the last 4 minutes in the pit lane. John Hutchins also has been on pit lane for 4 minutes. We are down to 19 cars circulating on the speedway. Justin Osterman is going to be the final car on the lead lap. There are 14 of those. O'Donohue and Osterman got hooked up. They brought out the caution, and Ryan, as it so often has and does on the racetrack, you get into an incident with a guy, and well, you find each other, right? Next week, you might even get to ride in the truck together during the pre-race ceremonies. Isn't it fun how that works out?
That seemed to be a marketing tactic a little bit in real life, isn't it? Putting 2 drivers that got into it, and then next week we're all together all the time. But lights are out on the pace car. We'll see our first attempt at a green-white checker, maybe our only attempt at a green-white checker, but you never know. Especially here at Phoenix, we've had a history of green-white checkers in the real-life truck series go very, very long. Wouldn't be surprised if that happens again. It has a bit of a history with this track, but Riley Lean is going to lead them off as he has done for the past, I would say it's been about 80 laps he's led.
Yeah, he's more or less led the balance of stage number 3. He's going to get the green flag. Barney has it in hand. They get to the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. And can Riley Lean hold off Greg Evans, Kendall Paul, Chad Meadows, and Andrew Jones? The green is out. They come across the line, and we are immediately going to jump into the P1 airship. Greg Evans to the outside this time. He got to the inside of Lean the first time. He's going to try it on the outside this time. Not quite enough steam. We're going to head down the back. Everybody clean and green through the first part of this lap. Riley Lean is through turns 3 and 4. Through the restart zone. Barney's got the white flag in the air. And the next flag will end the race. Riley Lean, Greg Evans, they're going to go after it. Cars spinning in the background. That is Lee Campbell. We stay green to the finish. Can Greg Evans mount the charge on Riley Lean, or can Riley Lean hold off the man who is one of the AMA Masters? Greg Evans right to the rear bumper as they come through as they get to turn number 3. He gives him the bumper. Lean slides high. Greg Evans is going to pull it low, but no. Riley Lean, Greg Evans, and Kendall Paul are your top 3 as Ryan O'Donoghue goes for his final spin of the evening. My goodness gracious. Whew. I don't know if I can take much more of that. Greg Evans gave it everything he had, Caleb. Up to and including, he gave him the second shot, which is I'm here. I want to go through now, but Riley Lean withstood the pressure. They got hooked up coming across the line, and honestly, Caleb, I think that's more of a situation where they couldn't get off of each other, and we are here for the Rogue Energy winning moment. You go to rogueenergy.com, use the promo code AMA24, you get 10% off of your order. That's rogueenergy.com. Use promo code AMA24 and get 10% off of your order. Riley Lean is your winner. He'll come home officially 61 thousandths of a second over Greg Evans. In third, Kendall Paul, who at one time was driving the Pots and Pans special around Phoenix. He gets into the third spot. What a great drive from Kendall Paul. Andrew Jones is going to be fourth. Chad Meadows rounds out your top 5. In sixth, David Dunn, what do you say? Hey, Lewis Hayes is seventh. Crash Neon, Ryan O'Donoghue, and Rick D. Fallis. Series debut for Rick D. He's going to bring it home in 10th in the number 10. 11th, Randy Dunlap. Great result for him on the lead lap. Justin Osterman is 12th. Lee Campbell, Luke Reed, Eric Corder round out your top 15. These cars all are laps down. John Hutchins, Brian Sharp, Mike Rigney, Sebastian Rodriguez, and Sam Crow, 15th through 20th. 21st through 30th, Ted Craven, Joshua Siegfried, Bladen Edwards, Julian Valadez, Peyton Howell, Keith Graham, Dylan Blankenship, Sergio Abella, Troy Carricker, and Alan Steigerwald. 31st, Raul Alvis, after being fast early. Andrew Gates and Donald Green round out your 33 starters. All right, well, Caleb, if you caught your breath.
Yeah, I have.
All right. We've still got the music playing in the background. We're going to have to cut that off. We're going to have to put the nameplate up because Kendall Paul wouldn't know his name if you didn't put the nameplate up. Kendall, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Edwards in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you guys. What's going on?
Normally, I'd say, well, you had an eventful day, but I don't think eventful quite covers it. You were backwards at one point against the wall in that 78. You got it fixed. You wound up third. How in the world did you pass all those cars?
A lot of patience and a lot of just take the runs when it was smart to, because there's definitely some runs I could take that would put us 3 wide or something, or put us in a tricky situation. But it was one of those things I had to keep telling myself, freaking just take the smart moves and not do anything stupid, because that's where you get yourself in trouble coming up to the field like that.
Caleb, what do you have for Kendall Paul this evening?
We saw a bit of tire strategy all up and down the field. Was it pretty much just straightforward? Did you ever consider, changing up the strategy a little bit throughout that course of the run? And we obviously got a lot of cautions in that third stage. Did you ever consider possibly saving a set of tires, or did you just want to play it safe and just once that pit cycle opened, you had tires now?
I mean, we've played a little bit there at the beginning. As soon as the fuel window opened, I think there's like the second caution, the last stage, we decided not to pit, and then there's that one caution that we saw Greg go down. So I figured it'd be time to go. We have the fuel to do it, and we got the yellows after yellows after yellows after yellows, and it was kind of hectic there. I don't know what to say if I was winning that or not, but really, there it was just kind of playing it safe, because with the points format right now, it's you got to maximize the points, and I mean, we could have diced it up there for the win there at the end, but it was just mainly taking the calculated risks and that sort of stuff, and try to take it home third and bring the car home in one piece. But yeah, I mean, we were playing pretty conservative the whole entire race.
Well, you played it conservative. You were able to take the runs when you got them. You played it safe. You got what had once been a damaged car back up into the top 3, Kendall. You're an old hand at this. You get on the podium. You get the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I gotta pull up the car here to see all the new sponsors on the side of this thing, but like
Just
I always
read
did
them.
last.
Just read them off the side, right? I always chide Gary Godso, because that's literally what I do, is read them off the side just to make sure I don't forget anybody. And he'll always change camera angles right in the middle of the interview. I'm like, Gary, put my car back up there. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Go ahead.
I had to go back to the replay to find it, but first of all, I gotta thank Archway Industrial Coatings, like I always do. If it wasn't for them, this all would not be possible, and gotta just thank them so much, and thank Sean Mott for also his support and his contributions to the league. It's been a major help, and it's been helped me form the league to my kind of dream standard. It's pretty crazy how far we've come and grown. And then I got to thank the our new sponsor for the league, Outland Custom Arms, sponsoring this series. It's really nice. It's been really nice to get to know Randy and everything, and have his company out on the cars and that sort of stuff. So I can't thank them them 3 technically enough. But then everybody, Track Racer, Rogue Energy, Admin Box. I haven't done this for a while. Rogue Energy, Admin Box, I think I've already said. Gotta thank them if they do something for the league. Black Magic Studios, they do something for the league, and gotta thank them because they also help out. And gotta thank the whole team, Interstellar Esports, and John. John had some tough luck. He was running really good tonight, so a little bit of heartbreak for him. And glad to bring it home third. And gotta thank my friends and family that are watching and let me do this. And gotta thank Mother Nature for tonight too, because we're supposed to get some severe weather later tonight. So thanks for keeping the lights on for now. And like always, I gotta thank you guys for broadcasting. And I think that's all. I haven't done this for a while, so I'm probably missing people. But if I'm missing you, thank you and appreciate the support.
Absolutely, Kendall. Well, thank you so much for dropping in. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Yep, see you guys next week.
That is Kendall Paul. He is your third place finisher today. It's not too often that I get to say this, but we now have second place Greg Evans in the deuce. Greg, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. Had to catch myself. I almost said Sam Crow. But thank you so much for joining us, Greg. You gave everything you could to Riley Lean. What'd you need to get the next 5 feet and win the race?
I think I just needed another lap there. I felt like we might have been a little bit better than him on the short run there, but yeah, when I got back to his bumper on the back stretch, I felt like I had to at least try to give him a little bit of a nudge. Definitely didn't want to, hit him too hard to turn him. It's early on in the season, and he raced me clean all night, so I tried to do the same to him. But yeah, I think we just needed just one more lap. I think we might have had a chance there once we got to his inside. But I told him, I said, that was just a really good race. Sometimes you come out on top, sometimes you're second.
Yes, indeed. Caleb?
There was that long green flag run in that third stage where it was you, Riley, and Ryan O'Donohue. And Ryan was on slightly fresher tires. So you're trying to get Riley in front. You got Ryan behind you who's on slightly fresher tires. Was there any plan going forward on what, if that run ran to the green and you're still on Riley, what that strategy was going to be on how you guys were going to get around him?
Nah, I caught him pretty quickly, and I was getting in the corner probably a lot deeper than I should have been. And I think Ryan was just kind of, not really enjoying running behind me, but he was comfortable there. And then I started really having to push the car a lot more than I wanted to stay with Riley. And that's whenever I knew that Ryan was, in a better position than I was. So that's why I just pulled to the outside and let Ryan go and turn one there. But it'd been interesting to see them two battle, if it would stay green. But the caution came out, unfortunately, and kind of fortunately a little bit. But I hate to see Ryan get the speeding penalty. But man, it was just a long night. I'm pretty tired. Took the off season off, and the last 4 weeks, I'm feeling old right now.
That happens. With the technology that we have now to truly make this a simulated experience, I can vouch for running. And as you know, I do open wheel cars, and the Indianapolis cars don't have power steering. So if you want to work out, go run one of them things around here. You get a nice direct drive wheel like you have with Sim Magic over there, and you're pretty wore out when you get done with one of these. So with that said, Greg, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us. A gentleman as always, friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, definitely got to thank my guys from DVD Motorsports. Ryan, Sam, Lewis, Rick, Mike. We all in the channel just kind of keep each other pumped up and going. And like I said, this whole season's being dedicated to John Van Varelis, and it's good to see Mike run a throwback scheme tonight. Like I said, I think we all had a pretty good run going, and just a lot of attrition got caught up to some of us. But got to thank Freightliner, Sim Magic, Simshop, Sim Labs, Duct Tape and Sure Tape, and Daniel Newman Racing. So we'll regather and reset and give it a shot again next week.
Absolutely. We'll be at Vegas next week, as Gary Godso says. It's time for lost wages. Don't bet it all on red, Greg, and we will see you in a week's time right here on P1. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Sounds good, guys. And like I said, I thank P1 guys for broadcasting. Man, you guys do a fabulous job, and it's always fun to go back and watch the races after we get done. And looking forward to going back and watching that last lap and the finish there. So appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. We have a fun time doing it. We'll see you. We'll catch you at the next one, Greg. Have a great night.
See you guys.
That was Greg Evans. He is your second place finisher. And for the win, we've got Riley Lean. Riley, you've got Murph. You've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I do.
So, first things first, congratulations on your maiden win in the AMA. You took shots and more shots from two of the best in the business in Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donohue over those last 80 laps. You managed to come out on top after surviving yet another round. What's that like, having a guy like Greg Evans wearing out your rear bumper?
It was a lot of fun actually. It felt like it was a lot about saving the tires. Like I know he burnt his stuff up pretty early on, and then Ryan came on later and gave a good charge before the yellow came out. And then those last few restarts were a lot of fun. He gave me a bump at the end, but nothing too dirty. So rubbing's fair. Yeah.
There you go. Caleb, what question do you have for this evening's winner?
I'm gonna ask a slightly unserious question, but first off, do you like chicken wings?
I do. I do like chicken wings.
All right. What is the best chicken wing sauce?
In my personal opinion, I got to go with honey barbecue.
My man. That's my man right there, Riley Lee.
Yep.
You can eat wings with me anytime. Caleb likes to initiate people the first time they get in the P1 broadcasting booth. So we've got to ask the questions that everybody in the audience wants to know. And with that, friends, family, sponsors, shout outs at P1. If you get on the podium, you win the race, you get the mic. Shout them out, buddy.
Just want to shout out my buddies who were helping me through the race: Matthew Opliger, Jai Baxter, Nathan Paliwota, the little guys. They were helping me along even when my Discord crashed, so they helped me with the strategy, like pitting before the other guys and getting out front, getting the track position.
Yeah, I mean, that's having teammates is to help you out is one of the true joys and one of the most fun aspects of iRacing. So it's always fun to have them along. Congratulations on your win. As we say here, keep going fast and having fun, Riley, and we'll see you next week at Vegas.
See you next time.
Yes, sir. That is Riley Lean. He is your winner tonight. And Caleb, he gets the Rogue Energy winning moment, but it wasn't without a fight. Greg Evans gave Riley Lean all he wanted tonight.
Yes, he did. I mean, it was just an incredible battle between Riley, Greg, and Ryan in that long green flag run at the end of the race. And it was just a matter of Riley having track position over Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donohue, to where that's sometimes at these short tracks, that's the most important thing. You know, so you just kind of hold that middle line. We do all the time in the Indy cars, where you just hold, you know, you're out front and you could just kind of control the race from there. And that's what we saw out Riley Lean today.
We did indeed. Riley Lean brings home the flag. He is your winner. The points are already up for the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. After 4 races, Caleb, we have a tie. Atop the leaderboard. Greg Evans and Peyton Howell both have 168 points. They have led a combined 348 laps between them in the first 4 races. Ryan O'Donohue is third on 142. John Hutchins fourth. David Dunwoody is fifth. Riley Lean moves up to the 6th spot with the win tonight, and that is huge because Riley Lean missed Daytona. And so Riley Lean, with 1 fewer start, is 35 points out of the lead. Sam Crow is 7th. Kendall Paul moves up 2 spots to 8th. He's tied up 2 spots to 8th. Andrew Jones is 9th, and Troy Carricker will round out the top 10 in the point standings. Upcoming on P1, it is a short week because we have the real life IndyCar race Saturday. We did the iRacing IndyCar Series event on Wednesday night, and so with that, there will be no broadcast tomorrow. Normally speaking, the iRacing IndyCar Series presented by 4D Raceware will occur at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on P1 on Saturdays, following the real life IndyCar schedule. Next broadcast is the Votive Indy Oval Series. They're going to have round 4 of their 4th season at the Milwaukee Mile, 8 p.m. Sunday night. No officials Monday or Tuesday. because it is week 13 and no Area 51 either. That means the next race on P1 after Sunday night will be the Horizon IndyCar Series round from Pocono. It's their third season. They're going to go at 8 o'clock Wednesday night. That brings us right back here for the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start live right here on P1. We would like to thank all of the fans in the stands for watching. You guys make this channel what it is. We want to thank the drivers and competitors for putting on the show. We want to thank all the sponsors: Outland Custom Arms, AMA, Archway Industrial Coatings, Simshop, Blackmagic Studios, Admin Box, Track Racer, and Rogue Energy. If you're in the need for one of the things that they provide, by all means, give them a call. But we also want to thank the people that really make it possible: the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and Caleb Brashear, the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank them all, and we'll see you Sunday night for Votive at Milwaukee.